They've continued to work and grow and implement their program and are setting the foundation for what they want to get accomplished here over the next couple of seasons.
I think one of the most intriguing teams this offseason is the Miami Dolphins.
The Dolphins have the capital to do whatever they want.
They're competing and building a culture.
I believe in team. I would say that. If you want to strive to do something great as a group, you got to work together.
You have a plan, you stay true to the plan, you execute the plan. The Dolphins, this is how you turn around a franchise, like this.
We're trying to build a team that's going to win right now, and we'll be very aggressive.
Welcome to the field, your Miami Dolphins.
We're looking for guys who are tough, who are smart, who are competitive, love to play.
They have landed some big fish. Love what the Miami Dolphins did. You're trying to build something there.
Patrick throws to the end zone. It is Parker. Darnold never saw the pressure coming, and he is leading. Gesecki wide open. Touchdown.
Let's have some fun and play together, man. Win on three, win on me. 1, 2, 3, win.
If you can get a group of young men to band together, to believe in one another, to practice and prepare at a high level, then you'll win ball games.
Big man, touchdown, picked off by Bobby McCain.
What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. And as always, I'm joined by the Jason Taylor to my Zach Thomas. What's good, homie?
Oh, man, chilling, bro. What's going on? What's good with you?
Just out here, bro. Been relegated to the lower depths of my basement tonight because the wife's doing some ish in the office. So
don't tell me you got kicked. She put you in the basement, bro.
Got
Please
some.
Don't tell me that.
The only thing worse than this is sleeping on the couch, brother.
I hear you, man. I hear you, homie. Fins Nation, what's good, baby? Let's get it.
Yeah, man. You know what? Let's not even joke around, bro. Let's get right into it. Because you know what? We're not even gonna let's watch in awe. Okay? Let's watch in awe. And I'm gonna ask all of y'all that were saying, oh, he's walking with a limp. Oh, his hip. Where y'all at right now? All right? Where are y'all at right now?
Crickets. Oh,
Let's
man.
go, baby.
Damn, that's so cool to see, bro. He looks like he is ready. He's ready to start like today, bro.
Welcome to the new Miami, bro. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Look at that. Guy. Let's go. That's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback. That's my guy. Oh, that's my guy.
Yo, he's walking with a limp. Yo, he's walking with a limp into the
Yeah.
Where are y'all at? Where's that limp? Show me where the limp is.
Crickets.
Out of here, bro. And you know what? I got to say this. How far removed he is from that injury into where he's at right now, that should speak volumes about the drive, determination, and work ethic of this kid.
Agreed.
And if that doesn't make you excited that we got that kind of attitude for the first time in I don't know how long in our quarterback room, I don't know what's going to make you excited to be a Dolphins fan. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, bro, he looks ready.
You know what, bro? You know what he looks like? You already get the sense, hardest worker in the room, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You get that you get that energy, you get that vibe off him, bro. Even when you go back, if people remember back when he was already in the facilities during his rehab, if you remember what was the one consistent, if he's not rehabbing, he's nose deep in that iPad going through that playbook.
Exactly, bro.
The hardest worker in the room is usually the most successful. And you can see he's coming for, I hate to say Josh Rosen, but he's coming for that ass, brother.
Yeah, he Fitz too. He put Fitz on notice as well. Fitz, though, he sees the writing on the wall. He knows it's just a matter of time. But Rosen, I'm sure, is still delusional, thinking, this is going to be my team at some point. Yeah, okay. Keep waiting on that one. I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you, homie. But yeah, bro. All seriousness, he looks like he's in peak form. You can even tell, like the close-up shots I've seen of him. He looks like he's put on weight, bro, and I mean good weight. You know what I'm saying? He's been in a weight room, and again, like you just said, bro, a tribute to his work ethic. I mean, not even. I mean, he was just he sustained an injury in November. Just in November, bro, and this kid is up and moving, and he looks to be in peak form right now. So he's been consistent about that, though. I didn't necessarily believe him when they initially asked him. I think they asked him about when he could possibly be ready. I think they asked him in December. The interview that I saw, he said he could be ready day one. And I was like, well, he's, that's good. He's optimistic, but I didn't necessarily. I was like, well, I don't know, man. I was a little worried, but hey, look at him now, bro. So he's proven a lot of people. He's making a lot of people eat a little crow today, and yeah, let's get it. He looks like he's in peak form. So,
bro, it's just, I mean, just how far he's come, man.
Yeah,
I
mean,
yeah. It's literally incredible, bro. I mean, I don't know what else to say right now. I mean, kudos to the kid. Kudos to his work ethic, man. Like, everyone was counting this kid out, and here he is. I mean,
saying they didn't want us to take him because of the hip. I don't want to take him. Then I don't want to take him at top. I don't want to take him at 5.
How are y'all looking right now? How are y'all looking right now, man? Damn. Because I'll tell you right now, man, they were showing Joe Burrow today, and Joe Burrow looks like he's put on a little weight too. But Tua, especially in the lower half, looks like he's bulking up, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I always talk about this. We were talking about earlier before we went live about hockey. Well, obviously my favorite player in the NHL is a guy named Sidney Crosby. And what makes Sidney Crosby so great, because he's 5'10", right? What makes him so great is he focused really on strengthening that lower half. I mean, we're talking like tree trunk calves, right? And that lower center of gravity, man. That's why he's so hard to knock off the puck, in the corners, up against the walls, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing with Tua here, man, just in a different form. He's bulking up that lower half. So not only can he hopefully strengthen the areas that got injured, but if you look at it, it seems like he's trying to regain that athleticism as quickly as he can. Yeah. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to come back and I'll say this one thing. The way I look at him, I don't think we're going to get a tentative guy in the pocket who's afraid of taking a hit.
Oh, no.
By the look of it, just based off the work ethic, this guy's going to be welcoming testing out his body on that at that next level, right? I really truly believe that, bro. The way he's working out, man, he looks like a dog, bro. He's just he's got that, and that's what did Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs say about him, right? In the pre-draft process, they kept going on about how big of a dog he was, and to the point where, if you remember, do you remember Trevon Diggs, when they interviewed Trevon Diggs? He talked about how big of a dog Tua was, that, and how competitive he was, that whenever Trevon, he's like, it only happened once or twice, but those 1 or 2 times where I picked him off in practice, I let him know about it, because that's how big of a dog Tua Tagovailoa is, bro. It ain't going to be, Tua ain't going to be one of those guys a la Ryan Tannehill where he's having a bad day at practice and he starts having a hissy fit on the defense. Nah, man, he's the type that's going to shut up, put his head down, and he's going to try his damnedest to make him look silly on the next play, bro.
We should have us as a fan base, we should be, the excitement, we should be overjoyed right now, bro, because he's coming. He's sending a message to everyone. I am here. I'm coming. NFL, the rest of the league, you better beware. You better get ready, because I'm coming. So, but look, man, just, that's my guy, man. That's my guy, bro. Man, to have that kind of talent, I tell you, I'm just overjoyed, bro. To have a talent like that at that position. First time since, in my opinion, since Mr. Marino retired.
And you know what's crazy, brother? I'm not arguing. I'm not debating. Dan Marino was a transcendent quarterback at the next level. Tua comes off. If you just go off of what Dan Marino did at the collegiate level and what Tua did at the collegiate level, if they would have been coming out in the same draft, I mean, let's take athleticism aside.
Yeah.
If they would have been coming out in the same draft, you could have made the argument that Tua's tape showed more of a transcendent player coming out.
Listen, if you recall the interview that Dan Marino had in January, he said this kid is light years ahead of where I was when I was coming out. When they interviewed him at the combine, remember that interview?
Yeah, when he was still trying to be a little bit mum on the whole Tua and not show the hand. Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's what he said. He said he's light years ahead. He's much better college quarterback than I ever was. So that's very, very encouraging. But Tua has that. He has that kind of talent like Dan Marino. I think Tua's talent level, I mean, you can put it up there with the best of them. So very, very, very excited to see this kid. I can't emphasize that
Let's
enough.
Let's just hope the tape translates, because if that tape translates, oh boy, we're gonna be a consistent contender. That's all I got to say.
I agree 100%, bro.
So obviously some breaking news, and we'll go through each part here. Today, sorry. We'll go back. We'll take that back. Stop that. Today, all the COVID players, brother, that whole COVID reserve list, I mean, it really got hammered today in regards to, I got a couple things I'm going to put up. I'm going to show everyone what exactly happened, and then we'll go into Barry Jackson did talk about it right after the announcement happened, and we'll go into what Barry Jackson said. So we'll specifically go over. We'll start off with the COVID list, bro.
Yeah,
it's crazy, eh?
Concerning.
Very, bro. Let me pull this up here. So I'll read it off hole by hole, and then we'll go through each part. We'll break down each part. So we have waived non-football injury Javaris Davis, which is interesting because, I mean, he lasted as long as that long snapper that replaced Blake Ferguson. We have activated Malcolm Perry and Zach Seiler off reserve COVID. So there you go. Malcolm's going to be able to get to work to the slot. We'll talk about that. So here's the one we got to talk about. We have also placed Raekwon Davis, Benito Jones, Brandon Jones, Solomon Kinley, Shaq Lawson, and Kirk Merritt on to COVID reserve. And then, brother, I mean, I know that sent shockwaves because everyone was like, man, those are a lot of names, that a lot of us have hope for, whether they're UDFA or a rookie or obviously a new free agency acquisition. Those are a lot of names on the list that a lot of us were excited to see what they have in terms of at camp, correct? So
absolutely.
Barry Jackson, after that happened, he tweeted out, so I'll put it up here for everyone. We'll come back to this in a sec, guys, because we'll go over the other stuff. But he brought up here, per source, the majority of players placed on COVID list by Dolphins today were in close contact with someone infected as opposed to testing positive. So no, there is no Marlins-like COVID outbreak on the Dolphins.
Good,
okay, still one name, me and you. There's one name, EM, that me and you have seen now pop up twice on this list. Right? That has gone on the COVID reserve.
Right.
Can you talk about that a bit, bro? And how concerning that is that he showed up twice.
That would be – hang on. That would be Malcolm Perry, correct?
No.
I'm drawing a blank here, bro.
That would be Benito Jones, wouldn't it?
Benito, yeah, bro. Yeah. Wow.
Malcolm Perry came
I thought
down,
Malcolm-
had COVID, and then remember he had COVID a couple months ago, and then he just showed up on the COVID list once.
I see.
But he
Okay.
had COVID,
Okay.
remember?
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
Benito
yeah.
showed up twice, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, man. This was my biggest concern. I mean, I know when we talked about this, a month ago, and my biggest concern, you have to ask yourself, are guys being responsible, bro? You know what I mean? Man. I mean, what do you say to this, bro? Hopefully it's not. Hopefully, it hadn't been confirmed about Benito Jones being tested positive, though, correct?
No, it hasn't.
He's just been on the list twice.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna rush to judgment just yet. But yeah, it's concerning, bro. Definitely. This is my biggest concern. When a month ago when we initially talked about this potentially becoming an issue, we talked about this privately earlier today. My biggest worry is this type of scenario happening mid-season, and you having key guys happen to be placed on this list for an extended period of time. You know what I mean? That's not just our team, but any team. So this is it is definitely concerning when you're talking about the season is what a little over a month away. So hopefully, again, nobody's positive. Again, player safety and players' health is the priority. But man, bro, I just, this was my biggest concern. But I'm not surprised, because I think at the end of the day, man, it's gonna be tough to get all of those young players to, be responsible, man. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what the concerning thing is, EM. Let's look aside from the fact Benito's been on the list twice. The fact that we just got, guys, it's a Thursday, and thank God it's in the middle of training camp that we just had 6 players put on COVID.
Right.
If this was a Friday, guys, if this was a Friday, if this was a Friday or a Saturday, isn't it? It's 3 negatives in 72 hours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think. So.
This could cost us a game, bro.
Yeah, this 6 people
Definitely.
on the rip. And I just want to shout out Jariq Huggins. He said he gave us $5 donation through Super Chat. He said, just want to show y'all some love. I'm loving the channel. Y'all are doing a great job. And then Shake Money with the $2 donation says, do you guys your IG mail? I don't know what you mean, brother. Do you mean, do we check our IG mail? I check my IG mail once in a while, I guess. Yo, Havoc, I see you in the comments. Why don't you I'm gonna drop the link for you, son. And then after we go through the topics, we'll talk. We'll open it up for everyone else to come on. So if you do want to come on tonight, I think EM just left without saying goodbye. Come on, son. At least say peace out. So I think he's out of here. So I'll be running it either solo dolo. Havoc can join me while we run through the news topics, or some of y'all can come on. I'll go through the news topics, and then we can open up and talk for a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it's good thing here. It's a good thing this is happening on a Thursday in the middle of training camp. If this was happening on a Thursday in the middle of the regular season, oh my, we'd be in serious trouble, guys. So it's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing that this is happening now and not in the middle of the season. And something I wanted to go over with you guys before we move on. I'm gonna go over some wide receiver free agents. Let's look at what options are out there, and I'm gonna kind of reinstate the guy who I would look at if they are looking at that. But I know Stevie TV got here a little late. I guess he's saying he missed the video about Tua, so I'm going to bring that up one more time just for Stevie TV so he can see that. So just give me a sec, guys, because I do actually have to pull it up. Yeah, exactly. Rick, it takes 6 more names on it. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Craziness. So let's pull this up. So I'm just going to play this one more time, guys, for Stevie TV. Stevie, I hope you are actually still out there and I'm not doing this just for the good of my health. There we go. StreamYard's acting funny tonight too, guys. It took me about 15 minutes for me to see how many people were in the room. Your super chats aren't popping up. I actually had to go back. I had to go back through the comments and find some of your super chats. So they're actually not even properly popping up. Okay, so one more time, we'll show, and then I'll add. Havoc just showed up, so I'll add him too. So this is for Stevie TV because I'm guessing he's saying he missed it.
Oh, okay.
He joined late, and I know he's a loyal subscriber, so we'll play that quickly for him too.
What's good, fellas?
Hey, what's good, homie?
Chilling, bro. How y'all doing?
Hey, good.
Even better that we saw this man running like this.
Yes, sir. Man. Yes, sir.
Oh man, where's the Rosen running tape at? Where's it at?
Yo, you want to see something funny? Hold on, I'm gonna.
Oh, is that him standing right there in the background with the red shirt on?
Yeah.
Yo, dude.
Out there chopping it up, or Tua's out there dragging the sled.
Yeah, he's drinking water. Something goes to his mouth. He's either drinking water or eating a sandwich. What's he doing? Look at his hand went up to his mouth. What are you?
He's
doing?
eating lunch.
Oh
He's eating lunch.
Wow, that's
Confirmed.
funny,
Rosen eating sandwich while man 8 months removed from catastrophic hip injury runs with sled.
Oh,
that is
gosh.
funny,
man.
I can just imagine what's going through Rosen's mind, bro.
He's like, should have asked for a trade.
I know, right?
You got to get off the field when the cameras are rolling and Tua is dragging the sled. You got to get off the field, home. You can't be seen in that in the background.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I gotta show you guys. Yo, did you see this? Safid Dean, he put out big news today because Rondell Moore opted out too. That guy was my number 2 receiver behind Rashad Bateman. The only reason I didn't have him at number 1 is because he's 5'9". But Rondell Moore is the actual yak monster. Couldn't believe he opted out today. That's crazy. Check this one out. Safid Dean was like, hey, retweet this and caption it. So it's the picture. If everyone sees the picture, it's a picture of Tua pointing to his right? Mm-hmm. So here's my caption. Hey, Josh, the third string guys are running drills over there.
That's foul, man. That's foul.
Wow, man. Wow.
Oh, hey, listen. He's still man. He's still got a jersey on. You know what I mean? He's still got that Dolphins jersey on. So, you know what I mean? We ain't got to go all the way in, but I think he understands where his place is.
He is our third string quarterback.
He understands his place.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. We hope.
Oh, snap, diggity.
What's good?
What's up, man?
Yo. Rhino Sith, the legend, and OG.
Are you kidding?
You guys hear me?
Whoa!
Are you kidding?
Man.
Wow.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, we can
hear you, bro. We hear you.
What's up, boys?
We hear you, homie.
What is good,
Nice to talk to
Rhino?
you.
Man, it is about time, man.
Man, it is an honor to be with you, homie.
I know, right? I know.
All mine. It's all mine.
Bro, this is as big as Josh Hout's coming on the show.
Absolutely.
I mean, Rhino is the closest thing I got to a fan club out here in these streets.
You and me both, bro. You and me both.
Nah, you guys are the best. You're the best.
Yo, what's on your mind? You got the floor, bro.
I just had to come in and say that this whole COVID list, I know a lot of people are scared by it. I kind of think it's a good thing. The fact that these things are happening where they're being mixing with each other. They might be close to someone that tested positive and they have a plan for it rather than just going, you're on the list, you're there for 14 days and the hell with you, you know?
Yeah.
It shows they have a plan.
Yeah, I agree. You gotta have something because it's just what we've noticed from Major League Baseball is, it goes from 1 guy to 2 guys to 17 guys right away. Mm-hmm. So I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rhino? Should they have 32 localized bubbles?
When someone says 32 bubbles, I think they go automatically to what the NBA is doing. Like everyone's there and, whatever. But I think, yeah, they do in some kind of mini way where that the players are given a set of rules they have to follow when they leave the building. You can't go to this bar unless the bar is somehow approved. I don't know how that would work. But the thing is, the main thing, the way I see it, is that the bubble basically prevents the tracing of where you get it from. You know where you got it from. And
right.
if they have the list to follow, whatever that team is, whatever area, whatever the situation is, that'll make everyone's life a lot easier with the NFL and the organization. I think that's how they have to do it. I mean, you can't expect these guys not to go mess up, but at least if you have that list, you can shorten where they may or may not be, and you can go from there.
Yeah, it sounds reasonable.
That's a really good point, actually.
Definitely.
It's one thing to mess up, but just don't go the full Lou Williams. That's all I ask.
Can you imagine the player? Can you imagine a player goes to the strip club, even to a McDonald's, whatever it is, sits down, has his mask off, has a family member that maybe had it or he knew someone that did have it and they were around that person, and they found out that situation happened? I would hate to be that player, and it spreads to another team, and then the system gets paused or delayed or shut down. Oh my God.
Yeah, they'd be looking at him real funny if they had to shut down the bubble because they found out you were at Magic City. They're gonna look at you real funny.
Yeah. I think though they have to come up with some semblance of a bubble format, because players, like I said, that was my biggest fear going into the season. Players, the young millionaires with that mentality, you can't tell them nothing anyway. So players, you saw the reports how I think that was the NBA, how these Instagram quote unquote models was putting it out there about players trying to get them to come inside, to come and have a little fun inside the bubble. So if players willing to go to those extremes and a bubble has been implemented, with the NFL players, when they have more freedom, you can imagine what they're gonna get into. So on one hand, I understand, trust me, I do, but it's about the season. So if these players can be responsible, we can have a season. But if not, we're gonna see these disruptions. Players, 4 players here, 3 players here, going on this list for an extended period of time. So man, it's definitely concerning though. But hopefully they'll have a more, hopefully everybody will get on board, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to take for, the season to be successful.
I got to ask Rhino, because I saw you was mentioning it earlier in the comments that you saw the video earlier today. How happy did you get when you saw that sled video? What did you say to yourself? What was your first reaction when you saw Tua running with a sled?
EM. I thought of EM. I was like, yep. I can't wait for EM to talk about it.
That's my guy. That is my guy. Oh my God.
And then I saw your comment, and I'm like, man, I don't know if anyone's gonna take that the right way, Perfect.
Man. Meanwhile, they got Rosen eating a sandwich in the background.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I just gotta say, for the record, when Rosen deal went down 2 years ago, I was all for it. I was all for it, guys. Not gonna lie about it. I thought it was a good plan. The plan is what I liked. I knew nothing about Rosen. Don't really keep up with college. It was put in front of me. This guy's top 10 pick.
Yep.
Let's take a look. And the way I look at it is we made that trade for the Saints, and we got the 2nd round pick. So to me, it was basically like giving up a 5. That's the way I looked at it, right or wrong. He didn't work out. Doesn't seem like he worked out.
Yeah.
I love his, the attempt. Anything can happen. I think if his heart changes and he takes it seriously, the guy has the possibility to be an NFL quarterback. Is it likely? I don't think so. But
I mean, I think he can be. I think he can be an NFL quarterback, but I just think it'll be in a backup capacity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's a place in the NFL for players with his skill set, and I've said this before. They're called backups. And again, I just think our fan base, and that's not a knock on him, bro. This dude will make millions of dollars.
Yeah, they're very well compensated.
Exactly, bro. So there's nothing to feel sorry for this kid about. Yeah. He's just not the guy. He's just not Tua Tagovailoa or Kyler Murray. Period.
it's interesting because people think calling him a backup is like a bad thing. Being
yeah,
a backup
it's
quarterback puts you in like the top 0.1 percentile of income earners in the entire world.
Exactly.
Like,
so don't feel I feel so sorry for Rosen. He didn't get a chance. Stop it. Come on, man. Stop. I feel sorry for people that are homeless. Every day I'm driving down in the city of Dallas. Those are people I feel sorry for that I shed tears for. But come on, man. Stop. No.
I agree. And also I agree with them taking the flyer and trading that pick and taking a look at him, getting them in the house and taking a look at him, because you never know what you're gonna get until you get them in house. But now that you got them in house, them in house, you got to make the correct evaluation.
Exactly.
And hey guys,
hey Larry,
What's going on, Larry?
What's going on, Larry?
Hey, I'm jealous. Rhino, first time he shows is on your show, and I've been trying to get him for the longest.
No, I had to come here first. If I'm going to come on the show, I got to come here, man.
So I had to come on. I saw Rhino. I had to come on.
Rhino was that soldier, man. He is that soldier. I tell you.
Bro,
Much respect to you,
Rhino.
Much respect to you, bro.
When I say what up, Fin Nation, obviously I'm talking to our subscribers. Rhino is the leader of Fin Nation, so
he is.
You know what I mean. So I told Rhino, who's the first person I ever told, if I could give out a golden wrench, Rhino would have been the first man to hold that honor. He would be our Thor. So yeah, Rhino's the OG, man. He's I can say, Rhino's been, I could say arguably, there's a tier, you got tiers of supporters, and I could say Rhino's been at the forefront of supporting us and at that top tier of supporters, man. So it's ain't nothing but love. Rhino, Rhino, this platform, as much as it's me and EMs, it's a guy like Rhino's, man. So.
Absolutely.
He's one of my all pros, definitely.
Yeah.
And now, hey, listen, Rhino. Now that you've made a public appearance, you're gonna have to make this more consistent, bro. And I mean,
bro, man, hey, man, you're doing a great job, bro. I want to be the first one to tell you that, bro.
Absolutely.
So,
I just love our community, all the streamers. I love all of our guys with everything going on. I love everyone. I have love for everyone. And we'll get through this, and we'll all come together one day. I know we will.
And you're out in Orlando right now. You and Larry are out in the middle. You and Larry are in the middle of Florida, living the life right now in that heat, huh?
Yeah. Tampa. Yep.
How's Orlando's Tampa? Yo, Larry, how's Tampa COVID outbreak compared to a place like Miami right now?
You know what? It's a difference. People have to understand Miami, New York City, Chicago are the worst hit because they're international centers. Okay, Tampa's not.
Hubs.
Yeah, so that's to be expected. People don't mention that enough, and I'm going to mention it now. There's a reason why New York City got hit hard in Miami and Los Angeles. Those are the international business centers of the world. That's where a lot of Chinese and South Americans, Brazilians come for business. But Tampa has controlled it. But you know what, guys? This mass situation here, all it did was delay the inevitable. Once we stuck on our heads, we got the numbers up. So the only thing we could hope for is that the virus goes away soon, because I don't know how long we'll keep our heads stuck in the ground. Not just football.
Sticking with Tampa Bay area, what do you guys think about the report yesterday that Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are discussing, like Buccaneers players and Tom Brady are discussing a voluntary bubble?
Well,
they're going to bubble themselves.
Who's paying for it? Who's paying for it is what I want to know.
No, basically, bubble, they stay at home basically, and they go home. They're back and forth. You would hope that's what the player's doing on its own. I
agree. I agree.
They're already doing it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree.
And not just that, by the way, games, not just NFL. Any one of us that's out there working, I'm blessed, I'm retired. But if you're working, right, respect your coworkers, okay? When you go home, follow the rules. Don't go out to strip bars.
Also, straight show some respect to the doctors, the nurses, the hospital attendants, because they don't want to see you there. They don't want to see any of us there. At the whole, staying inside mask thing, as much as it's about you personally staying safe, it's about making sure that we limit the exposure of the nurses and the doctors and the hospital attendants who are essential workers tasked with caring for those who are afflicted with this virus.
Yeah, it affects me.
I tell you though, I gotta feel for them players, especially the rookies on our team, bro. That Miami nightlife, I hear it is something else.
It's shut down though. Ain't no nightlife in Miami going on right now.
Yeah, that's right. It's not high priority.
I'm sure there's something going on. Maybe not to people.
Well,
like
I gotta
us.
say, you know what? I like the fact that we drafted a quarterback where even if that nightlife was popping off, he looks like he'd be the last one in there because of his morals and beliefs.
I'm worried about that reason.
Yeah,
I'm worried about that.
What are you worried about?
But also, he traveled with his family as well. You know?
I have seen many a Christian, many a man of faith.
Yep.
Yeah.
And living in Miami my whole life since I'm 4 years old, I'm 50 years old, I have seen them fall. I don't think it'll happen with him because his family, his father, the Polynesian.
And they're all going to be around him, right?
Yeah. I don't, but Miami and the women, those Colombians, those Puerto Ricans, those Cubans, Jamaicans, it's tough.
I get it.
Right, Christians could enjoy the nightlife. I did when I lived in Miami.
Hey, trust me.
But look, listen. At the end of the day, listen. Tua, we shouldn't hold. Okay, Tua, I get, and I've been, I talked about we have similar beliefs in terms of our faith. But again, I think us as fans, we need to stop putting. That's even more pressure we're putting on him to uphold that. Bro, people fall. Everybody falls before. The king.
But the thing is, here's the thing. He's got the support system of his family that we know is going to be right there. The other key thing, too, is Brian Flores and him, from what I've seen, seem to share a lot of fundamental belief. Like, they seem to be, a lot of fundamental beliefs are something that they share between them. So that's the thing. I also think right now with the culture we're building, he's kind of in a culture where if Flores is around, because it seems like Flores is going to be around for a while, he's not going to tolerate that type of crap, bro.
Yeah. Well,
also,
in terms of, I'm talking about in terms of him just enjoying himself as a young man.
No one's perfect, bro. No one's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm talking about if the drugs, the partying, and the women start to play.
Okay, exactly. And I'm not even talking about him dabbling in drugs.
Not even drugs for me.
I'm just talking about women. Hey, you're a young man. We all.
Hey, that whole Miami skyline was built off the white stuff.
100%. I'll give it 100. I went to college in Miami. I fell down for 2 straight years. I mean, it was something else. Going to culinary school. All of my friends are chefs, and
I was going to say the Cuban sandwiches alone, I'd be falling off.
All I'm saying is this.
And EM, you wouldn't be able to survive because of all the Latin women. You'd be done, bro. That'd be the last you'd want to be drafted to, bro. Buddy, I'd be sending you to the middle of Chicago, bro. I'd be sending you to Chicago, bro. You'd be staying inside because of the war out on the street.
Hey. I will say, look, bro, there's a lot of people.
Leave it alone, EM. Don't expand on it. Leave it alone.
Don't expand.
We're all reformed men. We're all reformed men.
Hey, but look, all serious, all joking aside, Tua, see, because I can see, how people like to build people up. You know what I mean? We're all guilty of that. But as soon as something happens, they want to tear him down. You know what I mean? So I can see the microscope on this kid already. You know what I mean? He's already come out and expressed his faith and talked. He's told the world what his beliefs are. So I can see, people just waiting for him to slip up. And I hate that, bro, about how we treat, how a lot of, fans and just the media in general, how they treat these athletes, man, but we just have to he's a young man. He's going to make mistakes just like any human being. He's going to fall just like anybody. Nobody's perfect. But I just don't want him getting into anything serious, drugs and, and like what, Quentin Dunbar and DeAndre Baker got into, anything of that magnitude. But women, hey, enjoy yourself. He's a young man. That's, I'm not judging him. I'm not judging him. That's between him and his God. As long as he comes out there and he performs on the field, bro, do your thing. I'm not mad at you.
So you know who he reminds me of? Okay, so me and Ian were talking about this before we went live. Again, I'll reference back to hockey. So I'll talk about my roots in a little bit. So I'm a Penguins fan. I've been a Penguins fan since I was born, but because I'm Canadian, I've known players in the OHL that have got drafted to the NHL. I've known players in the AHL. I know a guy who played for the Penguins. He scored on his first shift, on his first shot in his first game by the name of Luca Caputi. I went down to the Stanley Cup with Luca Caputi. So in 2009. So I was picking his brain about Sidney because he had been in the locker room with a guy named Sidney Crosby. And the one thing he said to me is Sidney Crosby, he's been the best player in the league since he was drafted. The length of the ice is 200 feet, and everyone will say he's the best 200-foot player in the world, arguably the best 200-foot player we've ever seen, okay? And the reason is he is there at the rink before the coaches, and he leaves the rink after the coaches. And I get the sense from Tua because that's kind of how Fitzpatrick is. I know Fitzpatrick isn't elite, but Fitzpatrick has always been one of those guys who he's one of the first on the field and he's one of the last. And Tua, if you go to Alabama and you watch, and you got to go back to what players that have played with him have said, and that's one thing that's always come off about him is that he's one of the hardest workers in the room, and he's one of the first people on the field and one of the last people. That's usually when you're elite, because we're getting to where everyone's talented at the NFL. Everyone's got some level of talented, but that's what separates the elite from the really great. And we go back to Josh Rosen and what's been the one continuous thing we've talked about Josh Rosen. I think me and you, Vic, talked about it backstage, right? What's the one thing? He even said, I don't need football.
Yeah.
Right? He realized he comes from money. He came from even the sports he played. He played tennis. He played those posh type of sports. So he himself knows if he said it publicly, that means he himself has come to terms with the fact, I don't need football. I look at Tua, and I even look at a guy like Fitzpatrick. Those were guys who needed football. Fitzpatrick had the degree. Fitzpatrick had the degree. Fitzpatrick had the IQ, but something in him still said, I need football. And Josh Rosen, I've never once heard someone say he's the first one on the field and he's the last one off.
I think what you're talking about.
I have to go back to high school to find someone to say that.
I think what you're talking about is that what they call now is what is now called the Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
Which is the drive, the will, the desire to want to be better than every single person you come across that calls himself a professional athlete. Now, I think I've seen that from Tua going back to college. Some people just walk around. They just got to glow. They just got to glow about them. Like
Frank Gore, right? Frank Gore, why has he been so successful his whole career? Not only because he's durable, he's always been one of the hardest workers in the room.
That's a fact.
People gravitate towards that.
And he's not Barry Sanders. But look at his numbers. It's because he's been one of the hardest workers in the room. Perfect example.
Right. And people, and again, and as far as Josh Rosen is concerned, when have you ever heard, since he's been here, when have you ever heard any positive reports like this? This dude has been in our program. He's been in the building 2 months.
Well,
3 months.
To be fair, there has been one recent where he's taken on the role with the wide receivers.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it has to be said. Oftentimes when people ask about Tua, you can hear people's individual assessment of Tua, and it's universally positive. Now, when you hear assessments of Rosen, it sounds like everyone is working off a script. That, hey, don't listen. Just stay on message. Anybody asks you, say he's getting better every day. He's working hard every day. He's trying to improve as a leader every day. That's
right.
I've heard that's the script I've heard consistently.
It's what is not. It's not what is said. It's what's not said.
There you go.
That's
exactly.
There was a positive article when Brian Flores mentioned that Rosen is learning. Okay, he's now working, coming in at 6 and leaving later with as late as Fitz. So obviously, part of the whether you want to recognize it, part of the problem, we're not there. Part of the problem could be he just didn't know how much work he has to put in.
That goes back to the point Reason made about, a little bit of the entitlement is you got guys out here coming from nothing.
Okay,
trying to make
Havoc. Let's bring up the point. I'll bring it up to Larry and Rhino that I brought up to you guys backstage. Okay, so guys, if you go back to the articles that came out about Fitzpatrick when he had a Zoom, Jesse Davis also was interviewed too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing that stood out to me, Larry and Rhino, was Jesse Davis when he talked about Tua, was he said, okay, and remember, Jesse Davis, his only experience at the pro level is with the Miami Dolphins, right? So keep that in mind. He said it's nice to see a young player come in here, and I'm paraphrasing, it's nice to see a young player come in here and not automatically assume the job is his. And fall and I'm paraphrasing, but if you go back, I can bring up But that's basically what he was paraphrasing. He was basically, I'll bring it up while we're talking about this. While you guys go off, I'll bring it up. But basically, I'm paraphrasing. But he said it's nice to see a guy come in here.
Yeah, but you're implying. First of all, you're implying that he was referencing Josh Rosen. There's 50 other teammates there. And by the way, guys,
Larry, he was talking about the quarterback position.
He's specifically Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Let me make my
Damage control.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Sorry.
Damage control.
Well, I mean, I wasn't even done my point, but okay, you can finish your point.
Yeah, well, I've been hearing all day. Okay, listen. There are a lot of athletes that come in here based on because they have so much physical gift, really don't work hard. We see it across all sports happening all the time. That's the sense I'm getting with happening with Rosen. Then Tuhart and by Flores, I read between the lines and directly what Flores is saying, they've been working with the kid and they've been very pleased with his work ethic since then. Okay, so we'll wait and see. We'll see.
Yeah, but they're saying the same thing. They were saying that same thing after they benched him. They were saying he's improving every day. It was literally the exact same thing. They're just regurgitating in a new season.
And what were the questions that the media was asking? How do you feel he's handled when he came over to the sideline? Was he pouting? Did he have a good attitude? They were asking Flo that.
But you know what? I would ask when we watched Dan Marino, I would have cursed him out for going to the sideline and cursing our players out. That's not good either. A lot of players will take
it worked out though. It worked out.
It wouldn't work today. It may not work today.
Who are we using as the comparison though?
A
guy who came in and set the passing touchdown and passing yard record as like a rookie.
Exactly.
He went to the Super Bowl like in his first year. You can't even make that comparison, really. I mean, Dan Marino, he's got the ground to stand on to give it to whoever he wanted to in the offensive line.
And the confidence.
I was not comparing talent. I was comparing attitude in the sideline. Okay, where the media report said Rosen coming in, drooping down. I don't disagree with that. But because he's not a leader, well, I would argue when Marino comes out of the sideline and blame all the players shouting in public on players, that's not being a leader either.
But he's earned that, though. Marino built up a level of cachet. Josh Rosen hasn't, bro.
Yeah, but a leader putting people down, that doesn't help a lot of people.
Tom Brady does that. We've seen him do that consistently throughout his career. Get mad at getting guys' face and put guys on blast when they're not doing their job.
Or Peyton Manning, the teacher. There's different ways of being a leader.
Yeah. I agree with Larry. There are different ways of being a leader, and I think the way Marino went about it in the '80s is not necessarily the way quarterbacks go about it in the year 2020. Right. But I will say, towards that, though, that he had the ground to stand on to do that.
Just his confidence. His confidence was, don't tell me what to do, dude. I'm out there throwing the ball. If you don't like it, bench me. That's what Marino would say.
And Rosen
would go,
and listen, this whole leadership thing is overblown, in my opinion. It's about performance on the field, period. If you are producing on the field at a high level, players are going to follow you. I don't care what type of attitude you have. The problem with Josh Rosen is he doesn't have the talent, he doesn't have the production, and he doesn't have the leadership.
To this point.
That's a triple win to this point.
And by the way, guys, I think Tua's better than Rosen, so let's not even go there. But I just dislike the way people just stitch on Rosen And we're not there. Just like people say, well, I know what it is. You don't know if you're not in a person's head. Okay, the only person that knows how Rosen is doing is Flores and his coaching staff. It's not the media, and it's not us.
And his hot tub.
Yeah, but see, but people aren't like, see, they're saying the exact same thing they said last year when they benched him, and it's clearly they're talking PR game with them. They're not. Listen, you were literally calling people up from Lowe's and Home Depot on a Friday and starting them on Sunday. And
exactly.
Where was Josh Rosen?
No,
exactly.
When Flores pulled him out, my initial gut reaction as a fan was, "What the hell are you doing?" I give the kid. Then I realized what Flores was saying. You know, Fitz gets best shot. You cannot throw a Rosen in his situation or a Tua. If we had Tua back then in that horrible situation, the only thing they're going to learn in that horrible situation was learn how to duck for 300-pound linemen being in their face.
Horrible. See, again, the coddling. What team does
coddling?
Let me ask you. Give me an example. Stop it. That's nonsense.
I'm not stopping it.
Stop that.
Maybe one rookie quarterback that might have a hard line to be a great quarterback.
Stop it.
Anybody out there name me.
Regan, quit being shy with that goddamn mute button, bro. Stop being shy with it. Listen.
Well, you stop it, sir. You stop
it. Here we go. Bro, that whole coddling, well, we're going to protect this player because how is that going to carry over to the other?
Who the hell's coddling? I'm not coddling him. I'm just stating
you don't want to throw it out there.
What I believe. That without no facts. I'm stating facts. You put a rookie in any terrible offensive line, they're not going to succeed. Period.
Hold on a sec. Kyler Murray played behind a line that only added J.R. Sweezy to that lineup, who's at best an average guard. He got sacked 49 times. And for everyone who wants to say it's an air raid, I've gone over this plenty of times. What's the number one thing with an air raid? The routes take way longer to develop than your average.
Exactly.
And he won Rookie of the Year with that. He won Rookie of the Year. And guess what? And even better, guess what? He almost beat the San Francisco 49ers twice.
And the answer is twofold. He knew better than their veterans, okay? That's because he came. That was the offense. The reason he was drafted, because he knew the offense. Even the veterans didn't know the offense. And number two, and this one I'm not denying.
See, that's false. Oklahoma. Hold on. That's false. Hold on.
You challenge me. You don't let me finish.
No, because you're wrong. Because
how do you know I'm wrong? You don't let me finish.
Because you're wrong by what you initially said.
Oklahoma. You're right all the time.
Oklahoma doesn't run an air raid offense.
Exactly.
He did not know Texas Tech was running the air raid, not Oklahoma.
The are very similar.
He had to come in and
explain. Larry, please explain.
Okay. Number two reason, and this is a big one.
Explain.
No. They're not the same. You can't just say that.
Okay, guys, I can't the same. What's the point of me being here? Listen. It's physical. One of the reasons why I don't think Rosen will ever be a great, no matter how talented his arm is, because he's immobile. Okay, Kyler Murray, you go back and see a lot of those plays he made because he was able to run away from the pressure, get out of the pocket, and make plays.
And that's the whole point. Rosen is not that talented.
I agree. That's what I agree. But I'm not touching
Kyler Murray's a better thrower of the football. Kyler Murray's more accurate. Kyler Murray throws with better anticipation. The only thing Josh Rosen will ever have on Kyler Murray in his whole life is height. Other than that, when you come to the actual quarterback traits, here's the difference. And I keep going back to this. It's not the air raid. It's not the offensive line. You know what the difference between Kyler Murray and Josh Rosen is? Kyler Murray's a legit a legit top 10 pick. Josh Rosen is not. That's the difference. Josh Rosen is a rounder.
My opinion is, you know what? I'm not that far off with you. I don't think he was a top 10 pick either, but he was a first-round pick quarterback. I think he was overrated, and one of the quarterbacks, just like Jordan Love. Some people had him top 5. No way. He's a late first-round talent where he went.
So what's your point, Larry? I'm trying to figure out what's your point.
The point is, you guys trash Rosen, okay?
The player.
No. Okay. We trash his tape. We trash his tape. We don't trash Rosen.
His tape and not looking at the whole picture, okay? Hey, he's an immobile quarterback. You cannot put him behind a trash offense. He has no chance at all. And even with Kyler Murray and all his stats, and I proved it, Rosen's stats, when you put all the drops and all the catchable balls that weren't caught, just put in the average quarterback basis, we're not that far off from what Kyler Murray had. Okay.
Yeah, but the only reason I've already proven this, the only reason Rosen's stats jump up to that is because he has such small of a sample size. He only had like 120, 140 attempts.
The reason
are we really gonna play that game? Because that means if we take away the 31 drops that Fitzpatrick has, all of a sudden he goes from the 8th best QBR to top four to top
exactly. Exactly.
If ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all live a wonderful life, bro. You can't live in this hypothetical, if they didn't get dropped. The fact of the matter, he started 16 games in the NFL. He's 3-13, and when you look at his tape, he doesn't make enough plays. Look at Josh Allen.
You know what? If I told you Josh Rosen led the Arizona Cardinals to 2 of their victories, you probably wouldn't believe me. Okay? The horrible quarterback he was last year, the horrible team, yet he found ways to win 2 games with them. One being the Green Bay Packers that really hurt them that year. So no, and when
Great One was on here the first time, go back and pull up when we had Great One on here. Go back and pull up Great Ones when we had Great One up. I literally brought up clips of him scrambling outside the pocket and throwing straight to the cornerback, not even close to his receiver. Terrible read. Then what else did I bring up? I brought up a play of him with the Miami Dolphins when you can clearly see he makes the late read, throws a ball he shouldn't throw over the middle, over the intermediate level. What happens? It's picked off. I mean, I don't know why we're even still having this discussion about a guy who on this team at best is a third-string quarterback. Because, I mean, how many times we got to explain if Tua ain't starting, if Fitz is starting. If Fitz ain't starting, Tua ain't starting. Like, Rosen's got the value of a bag of footballs.
I'll tell you, Larry, like I tell TD in ball game, you need to stop with this foolishness, bro. You need to get over it. You need to get this player. You missed on your evaluation, okay? You missed. Take the L and move on. That's what you need to do. And everybody that's been defending Josh Rosen. You missed.
A lot of complaints about insulting people. You know what? I'm not saying he's been great at all. I agree he's been horrible, but there's still talent. He's still young, okay? And it's foolish. That is foolish to give up on him right now.
So is Kalen Ballage. He's young too.
You know what I'll say about this is, we need to understand.
Chad Henne gave you more in his first 2 years than Josh Rosen's.
We need to understand at a certain point that we need to stop fighting over this guy, and we need to understand.
We all need to understand.
Dude, I'll tell you this because I know out of all the people on this panel, I'm the most active person on Twitter out of all the people on this panel right now, like far and away, not even close. Okay. And they're called Josh Rosen truthers, and Dolphins Twitter alone drags them through the mud because it's over.
Why is that? Why do they? I don't get it.
Because the evaluation's out. You know what you got in the kid.
No, but why are they in that? Why do they feel like defending him so much?
I think it's a top 10 pick. It's the obsession.
Exactly.
You know what it is? It's this. It's the same thing. They'll drag Herbert fans because it's the same thing with all these Josh Rosen fans that kept going to war for this guy when he's giving you absolutely nothing. What happened is people got frustrated and fed up with having to have these merry-go-round arguments when there's no argument to really be had. And it was the same thing with Justin Herbert's tape. Those guys, Justin Herbert, I mean, there's a lot of big people with 10, 20,000 followers on Dolphins Twitter. They still troll. Now they troll the Chargers fans who love Herbert.
Hey, fellas, I'm about to back out real quick, but I'll catch y'all later.
That'll be good.
Nice meeting you, Havoc.
Likewise.
all fairness to Justin Herbert, he had taken a snap here.
Exactly.
We don't know what we have
That's
with
the
him.
thing.
In all fairness.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous. I don't understand the infatuation with this player. I've been saying this for a year now. I just don't understand. I mean, are y'all watching something that I'm not? I must be missing something.
Well, their argument would be to you is that he played behind a bad line, and that's why he suffered. And to a point, that's true. But my thing is where that argument ends is that you could say that if someone like Matt Moore came in and won a couple games for you.
Yo, can I say
this guy's won nothing.
Hey, Rhino. Why is Andrew Luck out of the league?
He got his ass whooped.
Yeah, but guess what? He got his ass whooped, but he's still vying for MVPs when he's getting his ass whooped, wasn't he?
Exactly. At the end of the day, it could just be two franchises got their hands on him.
Bro, you put a third or a fourth or fifth round talent behind a shitty O-line.
This is what you get.
You're gonna get that,
That's
bro.
what you get.
If you're gonna put a legit top 10, even with the bad O-line, you're gonna see flashes.
Right.
Yeah. That's not my argument. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that argument because whether the line is good or bad, like you said, there's going to be a flash.
How bad was Peyton Manning's line his first year, but he still falls tons of flashes of brilliance.
Exactly.
Quarters, you put quarters back to back. I watched that kid.
Go look at his first 2 years when he played Danny Boy. He showed up for those games when he played, especially in '97 when he showed up against Danny Boy. He showed up, man. Like even that season, that rookie year where he threw almost as many picks or more picks than he did touchdowns. Go watch his game against Dan Marino. That game against Dan Marino will let you know that
we got something here.
Yeah,
we got something here,
bro. And he had a freaking terrible offensive line, bro.
Yeah. The thing with Rosen is just
you never hear the receivers, right? Because you can't talk about, Larry. You can't talk about the real Larry legend, Larry Fitzgerald. You can't go there with the receivers over there because that's the surest, arguably one of the surest receivers they've ever had.
Yeah, that's true.
Christian Kirk, even though Christian Kirk's kind of, underperformed, he's no slouch himself. He's just had crappy quarterback play. That's been his Achilles heel. So, yeah, man. I think the thing is, some people. The difference is some people actually see him as that top round talent, and we're sitting back here and saying, "Yo, he's a third, fourth, fifth at best," and you're putting him behind a shitty offensive line. What do you think you're going to see?
Yeah,
you're going to have results.
And at the end of the day, people just need to realize again, two franchises in consecutive years got their hands on him and brought him, had them in their program for a year, and immediately moved away from him. That should tell you everything you need to know about him.
And what's the number one intangible I stress to you all the time, besides anything to do with passing trades, EM? What do I stress to you privately and publicly? Because I played the fucking position.
Right.
I stress confidence.
Exactly.
Confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence has been murdered, guys.
Exactly.
And that's another underlying issue.
Well, guys, my final say on Rosen is I'm not a Rosen lover, but I'm not a Rosen hater either. When my time with Rosen is over,
I can't tell. At
the same time, when Greer Flores says they had enough for Rosen, that's when I say officially I have enough for Rosen.
Yeah, that's how I feel
I'm not a
too.
Rosen lover. I've been saying all along, Tua is by far more talented than Rosen. Okay, but I don't get, and I'm with you guys. I don't get this Rosen love. But at the same token, I don't get this Rosen hate. I mean, the kid is it?
It's the tape. It's not hate. It's the tape.
Here's the thing, Larry. You know what it is, Larry? You know what it is, Larry? It's not so much hate for him. It's the frustration and hate for the fact that we still got to keep repeating ourselves because there's there's still people out there clinging on to the narrative that, he might still win the first. Like, why is, people shouldn't even be thinking that. Like, if that wasn't going on, then you probably wouldn't even be hearing a word about his name. It's not so much a hate. And first of all, like EM says, we don't know where Josh Rosen from a can of paint. So we don't hate Josh Rosen. We don't like the player, and we don't like the player for our scheme and what we want to do. He's just he's not a fit here. That's why I said send him to Jacksonville. I said send him to Jacksonville so he can compete with Gardner Minshew. Go send him there.
Yeah. I don't just, I respect that. The same token, all I'm saying about Josh Rosen is there's certain things I like about him, certain things I don't. To me, I said it before, I'll say it again. The Josh Rosen type of quarterback's a dying breed. You need mobile quarterbacks.
You have said
So
that.
to me, the future with the Dolphins is Tua. Okay, like I said, but hey, Rosen come out there, he could ball out. It won't surprise me at all. He could dump another block and get cut even with his salary all paid up. Won't surprise me at all.
Like, you know what he needs, Larry? You know what he needs? He needs you know what he needs to have a chance in the NFL? He literally needs the NFL to turn back the clock of time, and he needs Joe Flacco's in his prime offensive line, because he's exactly like Joe Flacco. Exactly like Joe Flacco minus the cannon.
The Dallas Cowboys offensive line a couple of years ago would have been nice.
Yeah.
Not this year.
But you don't think
I tell you what he needs to do. He just need to get his ass on that bus as soon as possible. Because I tell you, I am exhausted. Talking about debating what this kid. I mean, he's just not it. I'm sorry, Ronald. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think at their heart, I don't really think they think he's it either. I think they just feel he's been mistreated and they take it personally. And that's fine. You can feel that way. But my thing is, for the Dolphins organization, it would be unwise to not look at him as a plan B or a plan C, because he is young. He's cheap. He seems to be malleable at this point. We're hearing about him working with receivers in the offseason. So there seems to be some kind of improvement. So, I mean, personally, with the COVID too, I just don't see them throwing him away at this point.
Yeah, I don't think because of COVID. That's why I don't think.
Right.
That's why I've said, like, if you actually go back to when we made our prediction about him predicting he'd be gone by training camp, and when I said I think he'd be gone by the trade deadline, we didn't know COVID would be impacted hard.
Exactly.
I thought they would have traded for him.
Now, if someone comes with you with a 4th round pick, where do I drive you, and what terminal do I drop you off at?
No, absolutely.
See, that's the thing. Like, it's unless you're gonna get a guy who is like the perfect scheme fit for what Chan Gailey's going to be asking for, in terms of a mobile guy with a decent arm that's a pretty high football IQ that can pick up the playbook quick because he's been coming in later. Josh Rosen does have over them that he's already got his hands on the playbook. And he's already met Chan Gailey face-to-face, I assume. So
with trading Rosen right now, have you guys seen the list of available quarterbacks out there? Ugh, gosh, horrible. God. So you trade him now, you got to get another number 3 or number 2 quarterback, especially for next year.
Yeah, the only one I would probably think about is going back and just getting Jake Ruddock.
Yeah, basically that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So bad. They're talking about Josh McCown, and I took a list of the available quarterbacks, and I nearly vomited. No wonder why.
Yo, Larry, this is why I really want them that money they spent last year, because we all know they talked about how they brought in a coach when they weren't satisfied with Chad O'Shea with how he worked with Josh Rosen. Spend that money on Malcolm Perry. Make him mechanically more sound. Make him a better passer. So in 2 years, maybe in 2 years, he could be your Taysom Hill number 2. Not next year, but the year after. Work with them. Spend that money. You invested the 7th round pick. He's already versatile. If you can make him a somewhat competent passer, plus line him up in the slot, plus line him up in the backfield, hey, in a Chan Gailey offense, you could use that, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said 2 years.
And at worst, he could be like, and at worst, he can be your like emergency quarterback.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like they have, like Julian Edelman is in like he has been in New England.
Yeah.
So that's why I have some hope with Rosen, is because of Gailey. I feel Gailey, he may not reach the highest heights in the NFL, but he's known to be a teacher. He's known to care about his offensive line, his quarterback, the offense, and he'll spend the time if he sees something with Rosen. If it's going to happen for Rosen, it's got to be with Gailey. And I have to feel, this is just personal opinion, reading between the lines, that like Larry says, is that I feel Fitz must have had a conversation with Gailey about the entire situation, and I can't imagine he left Rosen out of it at the time, because I feel Fitz cares about just the player in the NFL, wants to be successful, and I think he might have had that conversation with Gailey, and Gailey might have had some input. And if it's going to happen, I can't imagine it'd be a better chance than than Gailey. So I have some hope over that.
Yeah. And you know, I know we've talked about, I know the rumor was out there about Pittsburgh, but who'd be really smart to offer something up about him for him would be Tampa Bay, because you might have Brady for 2 years. Just let Rosen, and they're building their offensive line where you're not going to have to be a mobile quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was shocked they did not draft, not necessarily in the first or even second round, but they didn't draft any quarterback at all.
Dude, because I heard they were really high on Jacob Eason pre-draft, and he's very similar. When I gave my evaluation about Jacob Eason, I told everyone he's a more polished version of Josh Rosen. That's what he is. He stands with confidence in the pocket. He's better over the intermediate level. That he has a stronger arm, but he's a more polished. He's a purely pocket guy. He's not going to get outside.
But he's also a little more mobile than Rosen. If I remember watching his game,
he is
mobile than Rosen.
Yeah, but he doesn't really get out of the pocket.
Yeah, he's a pocket passer.
And he's not athletic. He didn't test well at all at the combine, really. Either.
By the way, I hate to break a lot of people's bubble out there. Tua's not a great athlete either. He's good.
He's good. He's not great.
That's why he gets injured a lot. Guys, sometimes the injuries because he couldn't run away from the.
You don't need to be great.
No, you don't
need to be a great athlete.
But see, there was a debate on because I guess they were clowning again. Some of the big boys in Dolphins Twitter today were clowning the Joe. Because one thing I will say about Cincinnati, at least they keep dropping stuff about Joe Burrow. You keep seeing clips of him throwing to AJ Green and in his jersey and stuff. Miami Dolphins ain't doing nothing with Tua. But anyways, I guess they kept trolling, and someone said today, they're like, oh, good luck with Tua. It's a Bengals fan. He said, good luck with Tua, injury prone and a running quarterback. So that was the whole, because a lot of people see, and I've said this before on stream, a lot of people see that he's 6 feet, that he's a smaller guy, and automatically assume, oh, he's got to be one of those guys that gets outside the pocket and runs all the time, where he's the exact same size as Drew Brees. So, like I tell people all the time, his footwork is some of the best I've ever seen, and he's one of the best guys. When he climbs the pocket, it's a thing of beauty. So his pocket awareness and surrounding his feeling of pressure collapsing around him. If you look, his injuries usually always happen outside of the pocket, trying to overextend something when he should just toss it away. It doesn't happen in the pocket really much.
And that's not an indictment on his athleticism, Larry. That's just him. That's just undisciplined, what that is. And if you want to get an indication of just how athletic Tua is, go put that LSU tape on from 2018 when he ran away from NFL caliber players on LSU defense for a 40-yard touchdown. I mean, running away from them.
Yeah, but I agree with Larry. I agree with Larry. I'm
not saying he's great. No,
I don't look at him as a great athlete. I look at him as a solid, good athlete.
Right.
That's Tua's biggest issue.
Yeah. I would say in terms of his speed, I would say he's probably on the level of in terms of his mobility as Ryan Tannehill. I would give him that.
I think that's Tua's biggest issue is that he thinks he might be that guy that's that good, and he tries to make too much out of it. I think that's his biggest issue.
He's got to learn when he get out of the pocket, quick decision. It's not there, throw it away. It's not Lamar Jackson. It's not.
Right. I agree.
That's how he got hurt, because instead of throwing it away, thinking he's athletic enough to get him. Remember, that's exactly what I hit. He thought he was athletic enough to get away from those big linemen. They caught up to him and fell on top of him. That also happened to his other injuries too.
Well, when he sustained his hip injury, I mean, he was limping. He was out there. He didn't have his wheels at that point. Yeah. I mean, he was trying to.
And his ankle.
Right, his ankle. Yeah. He was limping. He was out there on one leg. He shouldn't even been out there.
The LSU game, right? When he walks off the field after the LSU game, when they look at him walking off the seat, and he's limping after the game, right?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So,
no, I agree. So yeah, man. Rhino, Larry, anything else you guys want to add?
No. It's like I said, it's kind of slow. So I guess that's a lot of the reason we're talking a lot about Josh Rosen out there.
Yeah, I know.
I know it's slow, and this doesn't help. This media blackout doesn't help us guys one bit. Me and you, man. Wow, makes it tough.
Oh, good.
Because I'd rather be talking, as one of the chatters put out there about that Tua and what's happening in practice with Tua instead of.
Let me
Josh
ask you this,
Rosen.
Larry, because we've heard Rhino, we've heard EM. Aren't you a little bit surprised at the fact that we are in August and we're like 8 months removed and this guy's running sleds? I mean, did you think when he had that injury, did you even think we'd be at this point this quick?
Nope. When you talk about Preston?
Yeah.
Tua
with the sled running with
talking
the
about
sled.
Tua.
Oh, Tua.
Yeah.
Surprised. You know what? No, not really, because when he got this is all about that hip and buffalo. Once he got 100% okay, maybe that he's as quick as he. Yeah, I can give you that. But the fact that he's doing it, no. Okay, it's like Preston Williams coming back. Everybody said he passed the physical. How often guys we see that? You don't come back 100% with all the quickness on agility. Just because you can run and just because you cut doesn't mean you cut at the same level before an injury.
Yeah, but he's pulling a sled though. I think that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that I would expect.
I agree.
Because he's supposed to be 100%. Okay, I'm talking, for example, like an Albert Wilson coming back. He comes back, he can run routes and all that stuff, but clearly it's not the Albert Wilson of old. Okay, because that type of injury. So the fact that he's doing it, no, because they said he was 100%. If he's doing it as fast as, that you could say, yeah.
It shocked me. It shocked me because
I'm with you, Rhino.
Because all I heard is that he was physically cleared to rehab, then he was physically cleared to run. I haven't heard anything about physically cleared for physical contact.
Right,
that's what I'm waiting on.
No, that's
so
to me, that's
based on all of this.
Right.
No, I understand, but I was being reserved. It's just surprising. The guy's impressive. It's very impressive.
Once they cleared from all contact, that's what they did. No, it's not surprising. Yeah, if you had any one of those issues, they would have never cleared him. They would have put him probably in pump.
And and now we understand now why all those reports that were coming out, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago about the Dolphins were taking the training wheels off of him. They weren't going to wrap him in bubble wrap and take that approach with him. Obviously they knew that he was going to be healthy and he was going to be, in turn he was going to be able to sustain contact and be ready for contact.
So do you think legitimately, realistically, someone like Flo, Greer, and Gailey are actually entertaining if the guy goes out there, does the books, he knows the in and out, he performs in camp, that they actually would think about starting the guy early in the season? I mean,
now, considering what we've seen, oh, absolutely.
See, here's the
Why
thing.
wouldn't you?
Here's
Why
the
wouldn't
thing.
you?
Everyone, and here's the thing. A lot of people are going to give you pushback on this, and believe me, Larry, this is not directed at you, so don't take this directed at you because there's plenty other people who are actual Rosen truthers. So this is at the actual Rosen truthers, okay? Those saying, because I know you agree that Tua is, you've been consistent that you do agree Tua is more talented. So you're not in this, okay? So I'm going to make that very clear. A lot of the Rosen truthers out there who push back on Tua starting day one, right? A lot of them want to push back on, the offensive line. They might take care of him, but they never want to bring up what Flores said. Yet, when it comes to Rosen, these same people want to bring up, they say he's, they think he's doing better every day. I mean, what was we hearing last year? What was the thing? We see we're improving we like what we're seeing at practice every week. And then there were certain people who were referencing that. And we were and I'm talking about on every platform, people were referencing that. And people were referencing that. And they're like, and me and EM were saying, hold on. They're not running pads on practices anymore. So what are they liking? Right. So, we were kind of like, okay. Those same people don't want to bring up what Flores also said last year when he went to Fitzpatrick, which was, we're going to field the guys who give us the best chance to win. And I truly believe he believes that philosophy, and that's why they went back to Fitzpatrick, obviously. And if Tua shows them, I've said, on the whiteboard, on the field, I mean, and he shows that he's just as athletic and he's fully 110%. Because you can't, as much as we want to say, you can be 110%, you can't get better than 100%. You know what I mean? You're at 100%, it's over, right? So if he's 100% healthy, they like what they see on the field and they like what they're seeing in the whiteboard room, then yeah, I think it's a very, very real possibility because of what Flores said last year.
And I would even say this. I think reason I talked about this privately, I think they have got, since Tua's been in the building, okay, and this information, this is pure speculation, but I think the fact that they're pushing him, because it looks like they're moving, I wouldn't say 100% forward with Tua, but they are kind of giving him that nudge. Look,
the opportunity.
The opportunity. Here is, they're not giving him, but they're looking at him and they're like, and my point is, I think they already have a good indication of just how talented this kid is. They've seen him throw. Like Reza said, I'm sure they've seen him in a classroom. They see
Greer loves him.
And listen to Fitzpatrick. What Fitzpatrick is basically telling you, bro, me and Tua has already had that conversation. I'm the placeholder.
Yeah, he called him for Tua, right?
Yeah, he said, I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader when the coaches decide it's your time. He's telling the world what the plan is. Yeah. So I think they have a good indication. They've seen him throw. They've seen him in the classroom, and they know what kind of talent they have, which is why I think they're giving him that little nudge. Look, dude, now that he's healthy, what we've seen, him working out and pulling that sled, he's ready to go. And if he's out there outperforming everybody, and I've been consistent about that, initially I would err on the side of caution with him because we're still not a year removed from him sustaining that injury.
Well, and the thing is, guys, if we're all, let's say we're all Miami Dolphin players right now, okay? We're all on the offense, all right? And we clearly see he's outperforming on the field and he's on par.
Yeah, you can't hide it from the team.
How are you gonna explain that to the team that I'm gonna
exactly?
That's the problem.
Exactly.
You guys know my
it's his time.
Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, you know my position on Tua. I've been consistent from day one. I firmly believe Tua is going to be ready before the team is ready. Okay. Yeah. I believe in it. It really comes down to the offensive line. If we can put an offensive line day one that at least is, not a lot better than what we had last year.
Better than 32nd?
You're going to start Tua. Okay. Tua's the kind of quarterback I saw it in college.
Okay.
There's great. Remember, we said, "Oh yeah, you can't put Tua number one because he's a rookie." All it's going to take, I said it before, I'll say it again. All it's going to take is one practice and pads. He's going to be your number one quarterback. But the problem is, will the offensive line be ready to give him a shot to succeed? It's not about whether he's ready or not. It's about a chance to succeed.
Yeah,
it's hard for a veteran quarterback to succeed with a terrible offensive line. Never mind a rookie.
Yeah, but I think if they, in terms of like pass protection, we were worse against the run and in pass protection last year. But that's why I think the approach of the Dolphins, like when we got Chan Gailey, everybody thought, oh, well, he's a spread guy. He implements these spread concepts. We're going to throw the ball over, drop back 40 times and throw the ball over the field. No, I think the approach is going to be to establish that running game. If you listen to what Fitzpatrick said, and I've been saying this all year, the running game is the quarterback's best friend. And I think that will be the approach, whether Tua or Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be our starter. They will be especially early on, to let this offensive line gel. To me, that would be the smart play, is to lean on that running game early.
I'm not asking for a great – I'm just asking, close to an average.
20th. You want around 20th.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be a matador offensive line, basically.
Yeah.
But you got, but a lot of, but if you look at Rosen's issues last year, and everybody keeps referencing Rosen, a lot of his issues, and I'm not putting it all on him, but a lot of that responsibility, a lot of him being sacked and was consistently under pressure, a lot of that was his fault.
Yeah.
Him not make, him hold on to the ball too long, him not making the proper checks at the line of scrimmage, when he's identifying pressure or lack thereof. So a lot of that fuck.
And when he looked like a deer in headlights when the coverage changed.
Exactly.
And let's be honest. Let's be honest. A lot of his interceptions at the pro level have been consistently late reads. It's even when he makes the right read, it's like a tad late. And the problem in the NFL, it's all about timing, right? Especially look at the Patriots offense. That whole thing's based on timing, right?
So a lot of that, it falls on the shoulders of the quarterback as well. A quarterback can do things, and even coaches scheme-wise can do things to mask deficiencies up front. So hopefully this won't be that big of an issue as it was last year. There's going to be growing pains with 2 rookies starting on this line because we're all in agreement at least 2 rookies are going to start.
Maybe 3, we hope.
Maybe even 3. So they're going to be growing pains. I just, that's why, considering the players they brought in.
That is my only concern.
Right. But their strength, all of the players that they brought in, their strength is run blocking. That's everybody's strength, with the exception of Austin Jackson. But everybody else on the line, their strength is running it. Their strength is the running game. So the smart play obviously would be to establish that running game early, because you can protect your quarterback no matter who's in the lineup.
Yeah, Austin Jackson graded out very well in the running game. The problem was they don't see the games, and you see USC was a right side dominant running team. They went on the other side, so very few times you ask Austin Jackson actually put somebody down on the ground. But he was effective when he had to be. And if you watch the AJ Epinesa game, strength wasn't his problem against Epinesa. That's what Epinesa is supposed to be, one of the strongest D linemen coming out of this draft. That wasn't Epinesa.
But what was surprising about Epinesa, he only put up 17 reps on the bench. He was very underwhelming. His bench press was very underwhelming.
That did surprise you. Kirk America put up 23.
Exactly, and Austin Jackson put up 27. I think the problem with Austin Jackson is this. His technique, and he's lacking functional strength in his anchor, in his lower half, and its base. That's the problem.
I've gone over that, EM. Well, the scary thing about him is you look at his size and you look at his age, he hasn't developed that growth.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's still 2 or 3 years away from that anchor, reaching that anchor strength. That's
exactly.
And having a screw inserted in his hip didn't help.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But the one thing that didn't go away, even when it's, I talk about this all the time. Well, the one thing I do glow about Austin Jackson is, because again, hockey, right? I said this guy looks like a hockey player skating into his pass and his run sets, the way his feet just glide into him. I'll never take away his feet. His feet are beautiful, are like Tua, right? His feet are a thing of beauty, man. So if that guy can develop NFL level grown man anchor strength, and the size is already at, and with the feet, and then our coaching staff can polish his technique, then especially his hand placement, all of a sudden
you got a special player. You got
something there.
Because he's coming with the technical aspect of the game as well as the physical.
Yeah, that's why I told people
physical dominance.
When I said I do think it was a reach of a pick, I still think you could have got him at 26. Would I have taken Cesar Ruiz at 18 over him? Yes, because I think Cesar Ruiz is going to be a Pro Bowler year 1. I think if Austin Jackson is going to be a Pro Bowler, you're not seeing that till year 4 or year 5. I think he is going to take. He is the perfect example of a player you will not be able to properly evaluate that draft pick for probably about 3 years. That you can't. Like, they put us in a position where, if Austin Jackson plays poorly this year, it's kind of like with Darnold and Allen, right? A lot of people are saying, okay, with Darnold and Allen, especially Allen as a passer, all bets are off this year because, you're getting up there in time. Well, the same thing. I won't be able to pass a judgment off on Austin Jackson until about year 3 or year 4, just because I got to understand his age and his body and how it still has to grow and stuff. So I expect growing pains for him the most. And the other thing I will say, Larry, I don't know if you saw it because I didn't see it. Like, when you look at Robert Hunt, and I've always used him as a comparison, and because obviously you did your homework on Austin Jackson, I don't see the mean streak like I see with a Robert Hunt.
No, I agree.
I see one of that guy. He's built like Tarzan, but he plays like Jane a little bit, and he's got to kill that. Especially at this next level where guys, they're eating and feeding their family off your ass, bro. So, you better have a little bit of that mean streak, but hopefully that's one thing he can develop too by hard coaching, hard discipline, being worked hard on in practice. And, it's going to take maybe getting worked over a little bit at the next level for him to develop that and get really pissed off of why I can get knocked on my behind, get up and develop it. Because if he develops that mean streak too, I think we just went over about how he got to develop that anchor strength, his technique, especially his hand placement. I think if he develops those things, I think you got a good tackle. If he develops that mean streak, that's when I'll start talking to you about potential Pro Bowl level. He's got to develop those other things with the technique, but he's also got to get that on field. I want to take you and I want to blow you up to that next level. So
my grade, all I'm looking for is just B and higher production. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I agree 100% about that assessment of Austin Jackson. Matter of fact, when I did the review, I actually showed one play where if he had been aggressive, they could have got a touchdown. Yeah, they got the first down and the goal in the end and the red zone, but he did his job. He blocked them to create the first down, pushed him down a couple of yards, but then he let up. And the running back got away from one of the other players that was trying to tackle him in the back. And if Jackson just kept that up and kept it up, he could have helped him get into the end zone there. So I'm with you. That's why I see clearly in the tape that he does not have that mean streak. Part of it is because they always ran to the other side, so he always felt all I have to do is mirror block, basically. Yeah. And that he was very good at that because the guy is fast and agile.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
You can do that. He's very
good in open space.
But if you hope to consistently run the left side of the line, which I hope good running team does on a regular basis, he's got to be a nastier player. I agree 100%. That's what I expect from Austin Jackson. I think this year is going to do very well. Going to be good. You know, if you want to go a PFF grading, maybe in the 60s. But as he gets the techniques better and better, I think he can eventually be an all-pro. Not even a pro, but an all-pro. Because physically, he is the ideal all-pro tackle, you know, with the size, the strength, the agility, and all that. But you're right. You're right about the nastiness. And we also saw that technique issue. I pointed out, too.
Like, look at that.
He's 20.
I don't. Yeah, that's why we talk about that core anchor strength, right? And I also talk about his age. He's still impressionable to coaching when you're at 20, right? When you're 24, you're a little bit more set in your ways with bad habits, especially, right? But you know, one thing I don't know if you like. I brought up the clip. I don't know if you saw it, Larry, when I went over Robert Hunt's game a little bit, probably about 15, 20 streams ago now. But like my favorite play when I watched about him, and I never you talk about getting to that next level when you go against Appalachian State, where he just where he just you see him chip block that inside defensive tackle, gets to that second level, and he's actually got the mental awareness and the football IQ that the running lane is right behind me. The linebacker is stepping up into the running lane. And not only does he just move him, he blows him up, bro. And that's what I want to see. Like, especially when you're playing like jabronis, I want to see you blow them up. You know, I don't want to just see them, right? So that's where I'm at with that. Wow.
No, I saw your video. A great one, too. Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, very impressive. And how he gets to the second level. Not only gets to the second level, he just flat out bashes people, and that's Austin Jackson has that. He gets to the second level no problem, but he's got that mentality. 100%.
Welcome.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
What's going on, everyone?
Oh yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Yo, it's good.
I was shocked twice today. First, Tua doing the sled, and then Rhino's coming on.
I know, right?
Shake, Todd. Damien.
Hey, what's up?
I want to say,
I don't know who the gloves are. Who are the gloves?
I think that's Finn Strong 1, but I want to Kenny.
Yo, buddy.
Yo, what's good?
What's your screen name, brother? Because I don't know if we've had you on before.
Yeah, no, man. I'm a long time listener, man. Ever since TD's platform, way back, like a year ago type. I've always been listening. I always put in my 2 cents here and there, but today I had nothing to do, and I was like, yo, might as well.
Welcome, bro. So give us your thoughts. What's on your mind, bro?
Not much, man. I'll let you know that, like, I'm not as experienced as much as y'all. Like, I've only been watching football, like, for real, for like 5 years. But I actually wanted to ask you guys, because, like, you guys are talking about Josh Rosen and Tua. And I always hear you say, Tua also had 4, offensive coordinators. And it's just a genuine question. It's not. It's a genuine question. I'm not trying to convince you of my theory or anything.
Yeah.
But don't you think those 4 offensive coordinators from Alabama, are probably like top class, and the ones from UCLA are just a little, I think they're getting let go for different reasons than Alabama, because Alabama, you see a coach and they usually
get promoted.
Yeah.
Well, right. That's a good question.
So I don't know. Like, I just want to know.
No, that's a legitimate point. And the other thing you got to look too is, right, Alabama usually has more talent rolling through it on both sides of the ball. So not only they're going to automatically, the talent's going to make the coaching look better too, right? I'm not gonna disagree with you in terms of how the quality of coaching between UCLA and Alabama, because I mean, the guy who found Tua Tagovailoa and came back to Nick Saban and said, literally, I found, hey, Finn, someone has background music going on. They just got to kill that. When he came back, the person who found Tua and came back was Lane Kiffin, right? So, and we all know Lane Kiffin is a really good coach. So, especially at the collegiate level. So, I'm not going to argue that. That's a good point. That's a valid point. I mean, The only thing I will say is they were all told, whatever you're bringing here, you got to tailor it to Tua Tagovailoa.
I'm full.
And the only thing I will say, like, if you want to look a little bit deeper, is Nick Saban, especially at the collegiate level, his bread and butter was off power run. That whole, I mean, look at who's coming to the league recently from Alabama. I mean, Josh Jacobs, if he didn't go down last year, everyone argues it could have been him that would have been Rookie of the Year, right? So you look at the running talent that's also come through there as well. That was before Tua came around, that was almost a decade long of a power run offense, basically. And, it has to speak volumes to people that Nick Saban changed his whole offensive philosophy and what he desired and what he wanted up for one person. Because I'll tell you this right now, with Mac Jones next year starting, they'll go right back to that power run, because you saw Najee's workload really increased after Tua went down last year.
You think that true freshman is going to start? Bryce, or I don't know what his name is.
Oh, the true freshman? Yeah, I don't know, man. Mac Jones, he's decent. I don't know. That's going to be an interesting battle, man.
Hey, Reason. All right, Larry's going to give me grief for this, but my biggest problem with Rosen.
Hold on, Todd. I just want to say, because we've never had him on before. Oh, he left, but we just had Finn Strong on. He'd never been on before. But anyways,
sorry about that.
Go on, Todd. Go ahead, Todd. No worries.
No, my biggest problem is every time I've seen him, he's been nonchalant about it, even in his interviews. And it's almost like I've always said it's a hobby for him. I don't see him giving 100% every time I've seen him out there.
We're talking about Josh Rosen?
Yeah. It's weird. Even in the interviews, it's like we just need to do this. It's almost like looking at a young Jay Cutler.
I mean, Jay Cutler was very talented.
Very talented.
I know you're talking about in terms of like the smoking Jay.
Yeah,
very loose. Right. Body language. I agree. I can see that.
Like he plays tennis and has a hot tub.
At the end of the day, it's just too many negatives piling up on Josh Rosen's resume. It's just too much. I mean, again, like I said, when you're talking about coaches, generally they need something to build a strong enough foundation on when they're trying to, coach and develop quarterbacks. And Rosen, he just doesn't have a strong enough foundation in any aspect of his game for coaches to build a solid foundation. And again, there's a place in the league for those individuals. They're called backups. So, again, like we said privately, Reason, people are just so caught up in that, that top 10 selection. Why they think he could potentially be our quarterback or be a starting caliber, type of quarterback. But at the end of the day, man, I just think it's a match. That clock is ticking. That clock is ticking.
Before we go, I want to hear Damien's thoughts. Shout out to Damien for just joining. But before we go ahead, I got to shout this out. And I told him to join. Yo, shout out to the homie Ricketic with this man just came up with $127 PayPal. So I want to shout out
loose change.
The homie Rick. This is his fourth $100 donation to the channel.
Rick.
And shout out to homie Rick.
Shout out to your homie. You got to come on the panel, baby.
Yeah,
you have to.
Reason I'm gonna drop out because we got a big panel, and I know from experience you want to limit that because people won't get in.
Bye, Larry.
So thanks for
All right, Larry.
Hey, I'll come back Larry. Down and help. Bring it back up again.
I appreciate you for coming on, especially with the Austin Jackson stuff. That was some good stuff, Larry. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you. Right, see you in chat, guys.
All right.
All right.
So, Damien, let's hear your thoughts, bro.
Yeah.
Just a couple of quick things. First up, Fins up. The thing with Josh Rosen, we got to remember, he came from a pro-style setting in college. Jim Moore Jr. was his coach. Yeah. So he had
decent
coaches.
Yeah.
He had pro coaches. His processing, going through his progressions is not up to par with the elite quarterback in NFL.
I think Kenny was pinpointing the coordinators though, not the actual head coach. But I do agree with you. Jim Moore's no slouch.
So we gotta assume that Jim Moore, his staff was NFL caliber coordinators. I'm assuming. I'm just assuming.
But is that processing him, or is that processing the coaches? Is it him not putting in the work, or is it?
I think that what you just said, him not putting in the work. I get off in Rosen like a sort of like entitlement.
Can I just say this? I just want because I think we're talking about processing right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been pretty consistent. If you watch enough UCLA, Josh Rosen, you're going to see he's a pretty average processor. And I'll say it again for everyone because I know we got Kenny. I don't know if Kenny's ever heard this. Okay, so the same way you look at game speed, or when you look at game speed, how it gets higher at the next level. The same when game speed increases, your time to process decreases. So what I always tell people is if you're an elite processor at the collegiate level, when you get to the next level, at best you're probably going to be a really good processor or a good processor. The problem with Josh Rosen was at the NFL level, he was an average processor. Okay, and that was the problem. When you get to that next level, now you're not going to be that good of a processor. And here's where I've been, ever since I was on the other platform, what I've been consistent with, because I played the position, okay? Processing, yes, you can teach people what to look for and things in the defense that are going to hint them off, but processing comes to how fast your brain capacity, your brain power can process what it sees and send you back the signal of what to do. This is all actual brain power. So processing, yes, it could be taught to an extent, but elite processors look at Brady and look at Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, people could call him a quarterback savant. Okay, if you really want to go there, because he was basically an offensive coordinator that was on the field. What was the one thing that separated Manning from even Tom Brady was his ability to process.
Agreed.
If processing was this teachable, that coachable, why is Peyton Manning such an outlier?
Yeah.
Well, also too, can I say something? It's also what separates a shooter from a marksman.
A shooter from a what? Sorry.
A marksman.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To be an marksman, you have to have that elite processing speed.
Yeah, because then what comes with the processing? With processing, you're gonna know where you're gonna what comes off of processing. You got to look at what stems off processing. What stems off elite processing? Usually, elite anticipation and elite ball placement.
I see your point, Reason.
And you know what? And also another reason why it could be a huge possibility that Rosen struggles in that area is because the only way you can anticipate at that position, unless you know what route that receiver is supposed to be running at all times. And the fact that Rosen is lacking in terms of his playbook study, that could be a huge contributor as to why he struggles in that aspect of his game.
That's the main.
You can't.
But here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
But here's the thing. See, now we're kind of getting to a little bit thing because you can know all the route trees, but if you can't process what the defense is in front of you and you're just
that
throwing,
as well, that
you're
just compounds the problem.
Now you're just throwing to a spot. That's all you're doing. You're not anticipating. You're throwing to a spot because the anticipation says he's going to be open when he breaks at this spot.
And reason that goes with what you said with him being late.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
because I played running back. I played running back, and I know you're either born with vision or you're not. So it's the same thing with the quarterback with his processing.
It's kind of like a point guard in basketball. You know what I mean? He sees the play develop before it actually develops. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I just think the fundamental aspect of when you're talking about anticipation, in my opinion, is that you have to be aware of where the receiver is supposed to be. You know what I mean? So, again, it's like Tom Brady. When you see a lot of, what their offense is predicated on, Brady is throwing his timing, and a lot of times he's throwing to spots. And that's why he gets so frustrated with his receivers, because he expects them to be there on time.
I think,
you know what I mean?
I think that's proven with how he threw to Preston. There was a confidence level between he and Preston. And I think that proves the point of what you're saying. I mean, they were on the same page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, to be fair as well, when he threw to Preston was because when Preston first started, he was on the same,
right.
in
Third string,
camp.
second string.
He was in the same level with Rosen. You know what I mean? He was on the same
Ronald,
the ones in the twos.
You're talking about Rosen, correct, Rhino?
Yeah, Rosen to Preston, their connection in game seemed to be really on point to me. They had a good connection.
Because
the
training camp,
Preston was bailing them out with crazy catches.
I would say in the preseason they were more on point than the regular season, but.
And I just want to point out here because Manuel Rivera says,
like I said, I'll say.
Hold on a sec, Shake Money. I just want to get over this, and you go right back into Manuel Rivera says 3 different college coordinators. He never grew with anyone. Guys, Tua didn't return for his senior season, so he's about to be on his 4th coordinator in 4 years. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Go ahead.
Exactly. You're 100% right.
No, what I was saying was.
Oh my god.
In training camp, Tua was on the 2nd string with Preston Williams, because remember Preston Williams was on the 2nd team when he first came because he was a undrafted free agent, and Fitzpatrick was with Devontae Parker and Albert Wilson.
But the way I took it,
so that's why their timing got good.
Yeah, what Reason and Ian were describing was that all those things go into a gumbo, and they provide you confidence as a quarterback, and all those things were lacking that they were talking about. But he had that with Preston because for the reasons you said, Shake, is what I mean.
But see, I go with what EM just got done saying. He was more in tune with Preston in the preseason. That right there shows with what Reason was talking about, because the teams were only playing vanilla defense in the preseason.
Exactly.
The minute you get to the regular season, you have to process that defense.
Oh, buddy.
Exactly.
Hey, let me ask you this.
That's true.
Let me ask you this. You know what the first thing I'm doing the first thing I'm implementing if I'm facing a guy like Josh Rosen, the first thing I'm telling my defense when we walk onto that field for that first practice is, guys, everything they see post-snap is going to be totally different from what we're showing pre-snap.
Yeah.
And let's see if Rosen can beat us with his brain, with his IQ, with the football IQ.
Put him through the
That's
grinder.
how we're going to win the game. Exactly. I would just be throwing exotic look after exotic look after exotic look. He wouldn't know what's hitting him, bro. So,
and if you recall, Reason, remember he came out and said that he didn't even know how to identify the Mike linebacker?
Yeah.
Remember that? until last year?
How do you watch film and you can't identify the Mike linebacker? That's
Exactly, bro.
I can't. I don't play quarterback.
What's going on in that UCLA film room that your starting quarterback cannot identify the Mike
linebacker? That is in him for him.
Or he didn't know how to call his protections.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, that's basics. Protect, when you're young and you know your offensive line ain't good, buddy. Calling your protections, that better be at the top of your list. I know, man.
Priority number one. Which is why, like, I remember ball game and TD were trying to, they were trying to defend him in that Washington game early on about how they blitzed him and brought multiple pressures consistently, right?
Why wouldn't
that is because, again, he was behind in that aspect of his game. He couldn't identify where the pressure was coming from. He didn't know how to call the proper protections. But you saw the difference, the shift in how they defended Ryan Fitzpatrick. When they when they brought pressure to him early on, he beat it. He knew how to call the correct protections.
Because the linebacker moved, and then they saw the look in Rosen's eyes.
Exactly.
He's like, dude, do this.
He was totally confused. I was at that game. He was totally confused.
Deer in headlights. I just want to get him because I don't think we've had him on. Derek, give us your thoughts, brother.
Derek, what's going on, man?
How y'all doing?
Good to have you on, bro.
Yeah, man. I've been trying to get on for a while, but just been busy,
That's what's up.
But I've been enjoying the show, man. I've been doing a good job with it.
Very good, man.
So where are you at? Let us know two things. A, where you at on this, all that, and B, did your heart skip a beat when you saw Tua pulling a sled today?
Man, I was very impressed. I was like, oh, okay, this guy he looked a little thicker too. So I was impressed with that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I've got to go see. The wife is calling for me. I'm actually home tonight.
Hi, Todd.
So I've got to go see her.
Heads up.
Hey, y'all have a wonderful night.
Always a pleasure, Todd. Always a pleasure, bro.
Great show as usual.
Thanks, brother.
But yeah, I'm kind of catching up. I think what we got talking about Rosen and Preston.
Yeah, the whole thing about is I guess Rosen. I mean, how Rosen looked this year. I mean, give us your thoughts. What I don't think we've had your thoughts on this platform. Where are you on Josh Rosen?
I mean, I'm kind of on one point from one side. I'm kind of like he's never really had a fair shake, but at the same time, I've seen a lot of ugly out of him too. Like this season, just a lot of the sacks he took where I feel were kind of his fault, and. I think the job is Tua's regardless. I think he might do well. He may be improved and everything, but not enough to take over Tua's spot. I think it's a wrap, to be honest.
What would you do? Would you move off him or would you hold him under the COVID circumstances?
I would hold on to him. Because you can never have enough good quality quarterbacks on the roster.
Well, hold on. Good and quality in the same sentence as Josh Rosen?
Well, what I'm saying in the sense of
potential,
him being in the building, him knowing the personnel.
Yeah, I think it's a body.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm just being facetious.
No, but I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that I'm kind of hoping he does go out. And, whether he does it here or somewhere else, I hope he does go out. Like, I just think it's a wrap for him here, at least. In Miami,
I think I would be more inclined if we didn't have this COVID-19 issue. Everybody knows how I feel about him. I'm looking to move off of him the first opportunity I get. But with that being said, with the nature, with the climate, this COVID-19 climate, I mean, the smart play would be to hang on to him. But if it was me, still, if a team comes calling. I'm going to entertain that trade, and like Reason said, you still have Jake Ruddock, sitting out there who's familiar with your program. So,
I'm just I'm really disappointed that they're not playing preseason. I was kind of mad that
I agree. Me too.
They didn't want that because I wanted to see how he was going to do. I wanted to see the offensive line. I just wanted to see undrafted free agents. I just felt like not just us, but they were robbed of that. Because now it's like we don't know what's going to happen.
But I think everybody thinks like, and I agree with that. A lot of people feel that, the players were, they were the ones that were adamant about.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why I'm just kind of like, man, like that sucks for the people who are like, trying to get a spot. Like they ain't got really no voice. I feel like it's the players that are established. The higher tenure players that happen.
I agree.
He can hold the.
There you go.
He could be a holder.
There you go.
Man. I'm sure he can hold a water bottle with ease.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah, but who was it who came on here and they brought up? It was one of our guests, and they brought up it was like one of the people we had
him
on.
As a placeholder.
Malcolm Perry as the placeholder.
Oh yeah, a legitimate quarterback.
Yeah,
in case of there's kind of that fake,
Exactly.
fake field goals. Yeah, that is
good point. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah,
I just don't get. Oh, my bad, bro.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you're fine. Go ahead. I was going to switch. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry. All good.
No, I had something off topic, so that's why I was letting you go.
I just wanted to make one quick point about Rosen. Like, I don't get why we can't move past Rosen. Like, prime example, he's not gifted physically. We know he lacks awareness. He's not as mobile in the pocket. He doesn't have a strong arm.
I think people just have a personal connection to him. They just
but use this point right here on this player that we once had, and we went against him. Chad Pennington didn't have a strong arm, wasn't as mobile, but he put in the film work. He put in the work that was
a leader,
and he had the leadership,
and arguably
one of the most accurate pass. Yep. In NFL history.
Rosen doesn't have none of those traits, and he doesn't put in the time. If you know you're lacking physically, you should have the mental aspect of the game nailed, and he doesn't have it.
Yeah, am I correct? Hold on, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we also get, if he already had a pop gun arm, but didn't we get him also after shoulder surgery?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And he had a pop gun arm before the shoulder.
That's why the Jets got rid of him.
In the preseason.
He was dead to rights.
Right.
Yeah, but the accuracy, he was
so
and the
accurate.
film work and the leadership. Yeah. He had all those traits.
Love that
he
guy.
could take a bad team and make them believe because he had all those other attributes. Rosen doesn't have nothing. I mean,
and that's why,
he's a backup.
That's why I can't understand this loyalty to this player.
It's crazy.
I mean, it'd be one thing if he won a playoff game at some point, or he even flashed 3 games in a row or 2 back-to-back consecutive games, but he's given us absolutely nothing on our second round investment.
But Tannehill had physical traits. Tannehill had physical traits.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of people who think that Rosen has a strong arm. And I've never felt that way. I don't know what you guys think.
I think he did. I think he did before the shoulder surgery.
I think it's average.
I know.
Pennington.
When I look at
Rosen had shoulder surgery at UCLA.
I had no idea. That's so much I know about him.
He did. When I look at Rosen on tape, I'm like, where is the velocity? You know what I mean? Where's the velocity? Where's this cannon? Where's this big arm that people are consistently referencing about this player? I'm like, you don't see it on tape. I told Reason this months ago. And then Reason, he was like, you know what? I bet he lost a lot of that juice when he had that shoulder surgery. And I was like, you know something? You're absolutely correct. So, but
I mean, that's a misconception a lot of fans have out there. I see it in chat all the time.
Which I even be opposed to keeping him around as a backup because Fitzpatrick ain't gonna be around forever.
See, what I've always said about Rosen. I would entertain him as a backup if the dynamic of him being selected in the top 10 and being traded. You know what I mean? A team moving off of him and trading him, and then the Miami Dolphins in turn the very next year select a quarterback in the top 5. If that dynamic didn't exist, I would entertain Rosen as a backup. But I want Tua's transition to our offense to be as seamless as possible. And I just don't want the potential of a negative dynamic in that quarterback room developing.
Well,
I want to eliminate
Here's my thinking on it because how many years does he have left on that rookie contract? What, two more? So say for instance they rework that contract or they just let it go, they just give him a new contract. For something more suitable for him.
I always thought it was better to draft another player in a couple years to just.
I mean, you could, but if they like him as a backup and they want to keep him around, then we've seen him rework contracts.
See, my whole thing is, I said this earlier in the stream. I don't even think schematically he's a fit for the offense.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's the case,
I agree.
And if that's the case, then move off. If he's not a fit for what they're doing,
I agree.
I wouldn't, because we got so much capital next year. They want to waste a 5th or a 6th on a guy who's a little bit more mobile, and run a chance. Honestly, this year,
a guy I really wanted, and he's not even that mobile, but I thought would have been really good was James Morgan for the
Yeah.
Adam Gase.
I like James Morgan.
Adam Gase again with Ashton Davis, and then James Morgan later on snuck him.
Adam Gase don't know what to do with them cats.
I'm going to stick to my theory. Allocate that money you spent last year on Rosen when you figured out Chad O'Shea wasn't developing properly to bring in a quarterback coach like they did. Allocate that money over the next 2 years to work on Malcolm Perry's film study, mechanics, and just his ability to process. And in 2 years, he could be a viable number 2.
Adam Gase don't know what to do with them cats.
Reason I'm gonna defer to you with this question. When you look because I haven't seen him. I haven't seen enough on tape in terms of him distributing, him actually, distributing the football. Does he have an NFL level arm, you think?
Who, Malcolm Perry?
Yeah.
No.
I'm not going to be asking. I'm not going to be asking him to do much more beyond the intermediate level, probably. And if I do ask him to do anything deep, it's going to be strictly something I manufacture, where I put some guy out there that I know I'm going to get in a one-on-one matchup that's a burner, and he's just going to be past that corner, and it's just up to Perry to put I'm not going to ask him to throw up a high point football, beyond the intermediate level to Devontae Parker. Like I said, he got the type of arm where you want to manufacture it, and you don't want him throwing probably beyond 35 yards. So you want to manufacture it where it just comes down to just put it there. Just throw to that spot. He's going to beat the one-on-one coverage. Just throw it to the hash mark, and he should be there. That's it. That's the most.
That might be why. That might be why they're trying to make that conversion.
Yeah,
especially early on.
That offense came out of in college, the Navy. Like, that's all they run, triple option.
Yeah, exactly.
Gadget plays, if anything, you can use them for, like Antoine Randall back with Steelers. That's basically what you can use them for. That's why him being a placeholder, like you said, for the field goal kicks would be that could be a deadly weapon, because you can manufacture a couple of big plays a year off that.
And I tell you, there's a lot of similarities between Julian Edelman, Wes Welker. All of them were college quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Similar profiles.
He's got to put on weight. He's only 186 pounds too, right?
Yeah. He's definitely got to put on weight, but very similar skill sets between those players. So,
I mean, I talked about the receivers. You had the whole thing with Wilson being gone.
That's what I was.
Team Grant to slide.
That's what I was wanting to get into.
Let's bring it up right here. We're gonna bring up a screen right now.
That's exactly what I wanted to get into.
So I'm sticking to my guns and what I said yesterday. When I look at this list, the only one that stands out to me, because actually, let's go over it right now. I'll throw out the names and we'll go back to this list. So I'll save that up. Just give me a sec, guys. I'm going to go over this for everyone, and then we'll get into it, okay? So basically, Barry Jackson, he reported today. After I don't know if I showed it earlier. I'll show it again if I did. Armando Salguero was first to report this morning, and he said he was basically replying to Chad Johnson yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw. Chad Johnson tweeted out, he said, "Miami Dolphins, let me finish where I left off. I live 3 blocks away from the facility, so it's convenient for both of us."
This guy.
Armando Salguero said, and you know, guys, how Armando is. He takes anything facetious and he turns it into it's got to be serious. So he said, not the only veteran or former wide receiver who has reached out to the Dolphins in some way last 2 days. So that's key, guys. They're saying other receivers are reaching out. And then later today, after Kirk Merritt was announced, and guys, I see you backstage. I'll add you soon. After Kirk Merritt was announced that he was going to be going to the COVID reserve, and I'm praying, my boy, I'm praying for you, Kirk. Me and your family are praying for you that you come off that list and you go win that slot spot.
Hell yeah!
All I know is one name had been appeared
Don't
on
even
there.
say it, bro.
Oh, Mackie. Return of the man. Get that song ready, boy. Get it ready. I'm telling you.
Oh, here we go.
Just
Barry
saying.
Jackson said today
around 4:51 Eastern, so 3:51 EM's time. He said, per source, Dolphins have begun reaching out to veteran receivers and putting them through physicals, including Ricardo Lewis, who missed his first Dolphin season last year because of a knee injury, and Chester Rogers, who, again, he was with the Indianapolis Colts last year. So I went ahead, and yesterday, as you guys know, I said my stance was, when I looked at who's out there, the only one that's intriguing to me is, hold on a sec here. What's going on, Fan 82 and Havoc? But anyway,
what up, fellas? What up?
Gentlemen.
Here. So the only one who looked intriguing to me that I would take a chance on, I'll bring the list up for you guys. And trust me, this is the cream of the crop. Everyone beyond them are jabronis, okay? So, when you look at this list, Quincy Enunwa, I mean, that neck injury could be career-ending. Paul Richardson, I mean, did he really do anything in Seattle or Washington that makes you want to invest? Chester Rogers, I see, is a practice squad guy at best. Demarius Thomas, he's over the hill. Jarius Wright, Josh Gordon. I mean, do we want to take that risk?
Crapshoot.
Tavon Austin. But the name that stands out to me is 29 years old, is Taylor Gabriel. Because if you guys go look, Taylor Gabriel, he's produced. He's had years where he's put up over 600 yards and over 5 touchdowns. He runs a 4.40, and at Bears practice, he was rumored to be clocked in at 24 miles per hour running in the open field. So that type of athleticism, he displayed soft hands. He's displayed the ability to catch the ball consistently. I mean, he had an NFL. He's the only one on. Demarius Thomas, but he's the only one other than Demarius Thomas and Josh Gordon that I know of that's had a 3-touchdown NFL game as well.
When I
look at Taylor Gabriel and where we're lacking right now, we got hit hard in the slot.
Yeah.
And if you're going to ask me who I want, a Taylor Gabriel or an Isaiah Ford, if you can get him on a cheap, because I know he signed a 4-year, $26 million contract with the Chicago Bears. They cut him halfway into it, and that's because he had a concussion last year. If he's fully healthy and he's not battling post-concussion symptoms, man, that's an intriguing slot option for me. I agree. I know he's only about 5'9". What is he? About 5'7", 5'8", 5'9". He's short. I think he's 5'7", actually. Let me check right here. I think he's 5'7". I think that's the only downside to him is his height.
Yeah. I have to see what that physical looks like first before.
How much he weigh, Reason?
Come on. Yo, you Americans giving me this Google be giving me meters and kilograms, bro.
Hey, don't worry, man. I'm from Jamaica. I understand the kilograms and all of that.
Okay, there you go. He's 5'7". He's 5'7".
Don't worry, man. I'm from Jamaica. I understand the kilograms and all of that.
Okay, there you go. All right, guys. We get it. With measuring scales, you're more superior than me. Okay, guys. So he's 5'7". He's 170 pounds. So he's only 16 pounds lighter than Malcolm Perry.
Whew. I'd see how the physical looks, homie.
Well, I mean, the post-concussion is you got a past concussion, right?
Yeah.
I want to see Isaiah Ford.
But beyond him, I'm riding it out. Other than him, he's the only one on this list that intrigues me. Beyond that, I would ride out my depth, man.
I would at this point. I agree, but it's one name out there, and nobody. We haven't brought him up yet on this platform.
I know who you're talking about, man.
Des Bryant. Please don't say Des Bryant.
I know who you're talking about, man.
Please don't say Des Bryant.
Listen.
Can I bring it up?
Listen.
Can I bring up the tweet that I tagged you in?
Go ahead.
Okay, that's how we're gonna know.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how we're gonna know.
Absolutely.
Let me bring this up for you guys. But is Taylor Gabriel too small for you with 2 concussions so far in his career?
I mean, because the concussions are concerning, but I mean, it comes down to his price tag. You know what I mean? It's all. I mean, you're not going to be making a big investment, especially at this point. You're not going to be making a big investment in terms of his contract. So a player with that kind of athleticism, and if you really, you know, you have a lack of faith in what you have on the roster. I mean, when you're comparing him, like you said, to your Isaiah Fords, and he compares very favorable to, you know, the bottom half of his depth chart. You know what I mean?
Who's the bottom half of our depth chart, EM?
With the exception of Matt Collins.
On the bottom of our depth chart, the wide receiver core.
With the exception of Matt Collins. You know what I mean?
Wingstop. Half garlic parmesan, half mango habanero. Get it right when I see you, Mac.
Look. It's one name out there. It's one name out there, bro.
Check it. It's on the screen, baby.
Listen.
It's on the screen, boys.
It is one name. Yes, sir.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell to the no. Hell no.
I'm all in.
Hell no.
I don't want him around Tua. I'll keep it a buck. I don't want him around Tua.
I don't want him around Miami area, period.
I want him to move.
Hey, don't trust Flo?
Hey, Dolphin. Why wouldn't you want a player that caliber on this team?
Listen,
hang on. Real quick, hang on.
They all want to win.
Especially now that we have an established culture. I think our culture, our locker room, can absorb a personality like.
Hey, how'd that work for
Antonio
Patriots?
Brown.
How'd that work for Patriots?
No.
They had nothing to do with
that had nothing to do with his locker room disruption.
He had pending charges. He had pending charges.
Yeah, he had pending charges.
See, Ricketick's got the point right here. I'm going to bring it up on screen, too.
He's from
Miami, baby.
Great point, Ricketick.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Great point.
He's from and also he knows. Go ahead.
What I'm about to say.
Go ahead.
Besides Belichick, who's the one other coach we could trust, probably in the AFC and probably in the whole NFL to keep him in check?
Flow.
Our guy, buddy.
It will be Brian Flores. And again, Antonio Brown has to know whatever the team he got, this is the last ride. This is it. So you got a player coming in. You got a motivated. Arguably, he was, in my opinion, when he was head and shoulders above everybody else in the league. He was the number one guy. Now we might be taking a chance on in terms of him not being that guy, but even if he's 80% of what he was, that's better than everybody else that we have on our team.
Him, Devontae, and Preston. Good God,
bro. And the versatility. Like we got a hole. We have a hole at our slot position. This dude eats. You can line him up anywhere, but in the slot, bro. Oh my God!
I'm all in.
And also, you gotta take into account, you know, mental health is a real thing, and he went through what appeared to be a year-long episode. It appears so. Maybe he may be on the mend. He may have gotten, you know, some therapy, some type of counseling, some type of, you know, something to get his life together. And whoever may take that chance on him may reap the benefits. But I would say before you sign him, you have to do a psychological evaluation on him.
I agree with Abbott.
Absolutely. I'm sure they're going to do
if that dude is off his meds, I'm taking Matt Collins first.
No.
Let's not talk crazy, fellas. Let's not talk crazy.
This is a good comment right here too.
Oh man, I hate Andy.
You get him on a cheap. You get him on a cheap 1 year. 1 year, you can say, "Hey, you can come here and win a Super Bowl if you stay in line."
I would hate to see
That's
that.
another coach who takes players with troubled past.
Yeah.
And look what he did with Mike Vick.
Yeah, I can't. My bad because, like I said, I watched a lot of Eagles games, and one of the reasons was I love Donovan McNabb, but also I'm a huge Andy Reid guy, and you know I was super happy for him when he won. And my bad for forgetting him on that list because I literally brought up that Michael Vick point on this stream. So kudos to you for reminding me of that because that's a perfect example.
And think about if we bring AB in and we're successful in his rehabilitation, and he actually turns out to. We can get him to actually behave, and we can get production on the field. that is going to speak volumes about the program we have in terms of the perception to the rest of the league, in terms of players want to come here.
Hey,
like,
and another player, excited, man, because I'm seeing him and Tua hooking up in the slot. That just gave me wet dreams right there.
And I'll tell you, another player who's out there who has a job right now, but was shipped out because of his behavior. A guy like Kareem Hunt, who got shipped out of Kansas City to Cleveland. Nick Chubb is the man in Cleveland right now. So if we have that type of infrastructure, we may be able to. And let's keep it a buck. Baker Mayfield is on his second to last leg, just about. So you never know. You may be able to flip a Rosen.
You can't do Baker like that, bro. That's on Freddie. That was not on Baker.
Man. I don't know about Baker. I don't know about Baker.
Yo,
I don't know about Baker.
Hold on, Freddie. Yo,
he had a great rookie season, but I don't know.
I'm not putting it all on Freddie.
Let's put it into Let's put that into actual perspective. He didn't play all 16 games, and he tied the rookie record for passing touchdowns.
Yep.
So if he would have played all 16, he would have blown that out of the water, bro. So,
crazy.
Look at the teams he played.
But look at Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens was clearly, you knew from the kickoff, Freddie Kitchen was in over his head.
I agree.
Not have been there.
I agree.
Like, dude, you are going to see guys, if you are in fantasy and Baker's sitting around there beyond the 10th round, jump all over that because the value is going to be high this year because they're going to bounce back.
Well, all I know is this is I do agree with Havoc in terms of the Baker Mayfield watch is on because they got rid of the coach.
Yep.
Okay. You have
Darnold's got 3 years with what's gone on with him. Baker's at least in the first year not only flashed brilliance, but he showed it on a consistent level.
But
Darnold has no competition.
Who's like Baker Mayfield?
Who's Baker's Which is why if Jamarcus Russell gave you what he gave you and they gave him 3 years at Oakland, to mark my words, Baker's got 4 or 5. And if we gave Ryan Tannehill 7 years after his rookie season,
but look at our
Baker,
front office,
you're going to already start kicking down the clock. That's not fair to him.
Baker has Pro Bowl talent all up and down that roster.
Yeah, but you know what? Odell, if you look at that receiving core, look at that first year to look in the second year, the chemistry was clearly different too. Like Odell Beckham clearly threw off it was Freddie Kitchens was in over his head, and clearly Odell was behind the scenes saying, "I need balls."
Freddie Kitchens was trying to force feed Odell up there in Cleveland as opposed to spreading it out. When you got Odell, you got Landry, and you got Nick Chubb. Why are you trying to force feed them?
Hey, Reason.
Jarvis as your number one guy as a possession receiver, and let everyone else catch around him. That's your.
I'm only saying this. I'm not saying they will definitely move off of him next year. But what I'm saying is this: you have a Pro Bowl running back. You have 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers. You bring in Austin Hooper, and you got Njoku at tight end. You bring in Jack Conklin.
Njoku was hurt.
Hang on. I'm saying you bring this year. You bring in. You select.
They traded him, bro. They got Austin Hooper now.
No, they didn't trade Njoku yet.
They still have Njoku. They still got Njoku. Yeah.
They still have Njoku. They ain't traded him yet.
I thought they got rid of him.
No.
He wanted a trade,
he's on the
but
block.
he's still there.
Yeah, he wants to trade.
Dude, that's Austin Hooper. They just gave him all the money, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but he's still on the roster, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're going to move off him for sure, 110%.
And you have a top 15. They selected a tackle. What were they picking at? What 11, 10 or 11?
Yeah, Jedrick.
So I'm just saying.
Hold on. Here's the thing too. Jedrick, they're shifting a guy who played all his snaps at right tackle. Now they're going to go ask him be a left tackle at the Pro Bowl level. At the pro level and block a blind side. So I don't know why they drafted with Mekhi Becton on the board. I don't know why they drafted Jedrick Will to shift him over to left. Jack Conklin, they spent all that money on a right tackle. Why are you going to go draft next to Lucas Niang and Tristan Wirfs? He was and what's his face from Georgia, Isaiah
Smith.
Yeah, no.
Isaiah Wilson.
Those were your four. Well, I guess you could throw Jack Driscoll from Auburn in there, but those are basically your four purebred right tackles. They played their whole career at right tackle. Why? And I mean, I don't know if I would have done that. So I mean, we'll see. That they got better coaching. I think last year, not only like I said with Freddie Kitchens, but when you had Odell, it comes down to you got too many cooks in the kitchen, bro.
Yeah, look, it's Cleveland being Cleveland.
I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. As you know, we talked about this privately. Reason I'm a big fan of Baker Mayfield, the talent. But all I'm saying is this dude has an abundance of riches at the skill position. And if that dude if he comes out and he has another year like he did last year,
I just said he's gonna have a better year. Draft him if he's late in your fantasy.
Baker. If he comes out and has a year like he did last year, that Baker watches on.
They'll improve.
Hey, I gotta interrupt y'all real quick. I gotta get off. So y'all have a good night.
OBJ.
Yeah, you have a good night too, man. Good to see you.
Have a good night, brother.
All right, bro, man. We appreciate you coming on.
I'm gonna get back on one of these days.
For sure.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Look forward to it.
I think OBJ's clock is what's going to be ticking.
You might.
That's what I think.
It's been ticking.
That's
been ticking for a minute.
Has he lost a step? Because he's been kind of dinged up the last few years. Is he the same?
I think the injuries. I think the injuries have taken his toll on him.
Yeah. I don't see the same Odell. I don't see the same Odell.
He doesn't have the same burst.
Yeah.
You know what? He doesn't have the initial burst anymore, and he also doesn't have that explosiveness going up for getting balls.
And I think honestly, I don't think he wants to be in Cleveland.
Yeah, I was gonna say. If you watched Odell, Baker was also targeting him, and Odell was giving up.
Yeah,
Odell wasn't running out the route, bro.
He's there.
Hey, truth be told,
Landry's there. That's his homie.
Truth be told, I don't think Jarvis wants to be in Cleveland either. To be honest,
wasn't Jarvis nobody wanted to come back?
But you know what? If
Jarvis wanted to get paid though, that's why he's in Cleveland.
Yeah. That's why he's in Cleveland. Yeah.
No. Jarvis, even if you don't want to be there, he'll still go out there and give you 110%.
I agree.
He's got the pride of an athlete, a football player.
I agree.
That's the difference between Jarvis and Odell. Odell is a diva. He wants everything to be given to him. That's why he.
Honestly, why were you? You know what? Here's the one thing. Didn't y'all notice the first year when Odell wasn't there? What was Jarvis also doing that you didn't see last year as much, and you didn't see with the Dolphins?
Acting up a little bit.
He was finding the end zone a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the one thing we used to always say is he would get.
He don't score touchdowns.
Catches and 2 touchdowns.
How many times did you see him get stopped in front of the 5 and you're like, oh my God. But in Cleveland in that first year, he was getting there. The thing is, bringing a talent like Odell, Baker and him didn't look like on the same page. Plus, he's also taking targets away from Jarvis, whose whole game is to be an 80 to 90 reception possession receiver, bro. That's his whole game. You give him 80, 90 targets, 100 targets in a year. Or 80, 90 receptions is what you're trying to get him in a year. And then you get guys around him. But the thing is, you got 2 alphas fighting for the ball, even though they're boys, they still want their targets, man.
Yeah. And Odell has a history of being a guy that can make the spectacular catch, but when the ball hits him squarely on the hands in stride,
Landry was the better catcher. Landry always been the better catcher since LSU. Fact.
Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand because I didn't
that ESPN hype train hit OBJ real hard.
Y'all don't understand because I didn't have this platform at the time, and me and EM didn't have this. I was heartbroken when we lost Jarvis Landry. When he found out when he was at his foundation at his charity event and the news broke, I was heartbroken. And I could say, man, I loved Chris Chambers, but I was not and I loved Randy McMichael, but I was not as man, I was the most heartbroken. We lost him since Jason Taylor joined the Jets and Zach Collins retired. You know what I mean? I put Jarvis going up there because I was I love
Jarvis.
And I wanted to be our slot guy for life, bro, because he was the best slot guy in the NFL, bro. I don't care what anyone tells me, man. He was so dependable, and people are now realizing, man, that is such a hard thing to find in the NFL. The dependability he offered you, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jarvis Landry, but I just don't think
freaking Gase.
I love Jarvis, but I just don't think for your team to be successful, I don't think he should be your number one guy. Because
he doesn't have the
ability.
He wanted number one outside
money. Exactly.
He wanted AB money. And he was a guy, right?
Also, if you're looking at Cleveland, they're in a situation where they have close to $30 million invested in 2 wide receivers. That sounds like the Tannenbaum plan all over again, where you just have these high-priced guys and zero depth behind them.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, Having. I think in Cleveland, I think it'll benefit Baker Mayfield and the team overall. I think Nick Chubb needs to be prioritized.
100%.
And Jarvis,
open everything else up.
Jarvis and Odell need to be second and third. You know what I mean?
And hey,
that's the player. That's the player in that offense.
I'm telling you guys,
Nick Chubb is no joke.
Who did Austin?
Monster, bro.
Who did Austin Hooper just make his money under, man? Matt Ryan.
Oh yeah.
So he's gonna come there, and he's Austin Hooper been to a Super Bowl as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna come there, and he's probably
going to demand the ball.
Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Well, not necessarily.
No, but I think for preparation, teaching him how to prep as a pro. I think Austin Hooper is going to be good for his development in the locker room in the huddle.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, they need to be even though they do have a lot of money invested in wide receivers, they need to be a run-first offense.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at Nico. Nick Chubb was. I just did a dynasty draft a couple months ago. Nick Chubb was my first.
He is an absolute beast, bro.
A monster, man. Monster.
Beast.
And they got Kareem Hunt as his backup. His backup is Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
Come on, man. That's a run-first offense all day.
I think
Baker should be throwing 30 times a game.
No way.
No.
The
problem is you got Jarvis and Odell who probably want around 10
in his ear. Yeah.
They want 10 targets each a game, bro.
That's where that coach needs to step in, or Baker needs to step in. Look, and they need to realize what kind of player they have in Nick Chubb, and that's going to benefit everyone. You know what I mean? They need to establish
personality.
I think he has the personality, but coming off last year, his chest is not sticking out as far as it was off his rookie year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he's a little shook.
Nick Chubb saw his Madden rating. Nick Chubb has seen his Madden rating. He knows the vibes.
Didn't Miles get paid?
And you want me to be real hot take? Yeah. I think Nick Chubb has the ability to be the top running back in the NFL. Bro.
In the league, he might already be.
Nah, let's not jump all the way off the ledge.
Slow down there, EM. Slow down.
Let's not jump all the way off the ledge.
Not yet, but I think
top 5. I'll give you that, but I don't know.
I'm just saying he's in the conversation. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
He's in the conversation.
Oh, you give him 2 years, he might be at the top of that list, brother.
Yeah, I think Saquon and Christian are.
I agree with that. Don't get Reason going on Christian McCaffrey.
I think Christian McCaffrey is the best player in the NFL.
He's the cheat code. Christian McCaffrey is the cheat code. He's a running back and a slot wide receiver.
Yeah, he is.
And he's a great blocker. The only thing he doesn't do is play quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, it's also running. He can
not
run
yet.
in
Not yet, Reason.
Not yet. He can run in between tackles as well. I mean,
I'll say this: he's the only guy probably in the NFL I would throw a blank check at and say, "What do you want?"
They did that already. They already did that.
McCaffrey.
Yeah, they did that this summer with them.
As long as it's for 3 years, keep in mind it's for 3 years.
Right.
Put whatever number you want down on that. I'll pay. Like Tunsil making the kind of money. Like I'm not paying you as much as Tunsil's amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Reason,
but his penalties, his holding problems alone, I'm not paying.
Right.
Reason.
I agree.
So I got a question for you, Reason. You said he's the best player in the NFL. Now I don't put too much emphasis on this top 100. But what you think about him being the number 4 they put him as the top 100 this year?
Bro.
What you think about that?
when Mahomes is behind Lamar, the list became fugazi.
Mahomes is behind Lamar?
Yeah, Mahomes was number
you're not
one.
the top five was jacked up.
Lamar was number 1, and Mahomes
is
was
behind Lamar.
Was Mahomes number 4?
Mahomes is number 4.
Mahomes is not number 4. Christian McCaffrey number 3, I believe. Aaron Donald number 2, and Lamar Jackson number 1.
I got a question that whole list.
Hold on. Here's the thing. That list is based off last year's performance and the fact that Devontae Parker didn't make it when he outperformed statistically, especially in the last 8 weeks, every Pro Bowl receiver. That makes no sense to me, bro.
And gave it to the best cornerback in the league, too.
Kyle Van Noy was the only one that registered on that list. He was like 108. He was like 108. No, he was like, he was like 108.
List on a 5-win team. Let's just keep it a buck.
Yeah. And Byron Jones isn't on your top 100 NFL players.
That's atrocious.
That's atrocious.
Corner. What are we on?
That is atrocious.
Xavier, I get why Xavier was on the injuries, and they don't know what they have right now. But Byron in on that, I don't get it. And Lamar is not the best player in the NFL. I don't care what anyone tells me.
I agree with you on that one.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely deserves all that play. But I mean, number one.
I already broke down the analytics. Okay, the whole, you could say Cam Newton's best year since his MVP season and that Super Bowl run was 2018. And I already broke down that all of that was due to Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, McCaffrey literally caught, I think it was about 28% of Cam Newton's completions were to McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I think almost 30, I think about 26% of Cam Newton's passing yards was to Christian McCaffrey. I think 33% of his touchdowns were to Christian McCaffrey. It was 25% or 33% of his touchdowns were to Christian McCaffrey. I think it was 33%.
Was it North Turner as O coordinator too?
Yeah, and North Turner was there.
Yep.
Check down Cam.
So my question earlier to the reason was because you and Larry was getting to the whole Josh Rosen, you probably didn't see it. With Tua being the guy this year, as we see the film coming out, we see him, he's progressing. Everybody's on Tua. He's getting better. Even the damn starting quarterback this season said that, hey, this is the guy. Who you think will have the best relationship with Tua as far as receiving wise this year?
Based off early information, it seems like Gary Jennings.
Gary Jennings?
They seem that's why I dug in on Gary. That's why I think Gary Jennings. I'm just talking about like personal relationship. Are you talking about like on field? Because I think it might translate. The first guy.
I'm talking on the field too, on the field and off the field.
Well, I could also make the argument for Gary Jennings because that's the player he's been throwing to the longest. His first private sessions when he landed was with Gary Jennings, and the guys he's been in communication the most, from what I understand, are Kirk Merritt and Gary Jennings.
It's gonna be a rookie. That.
What's your opinion, Reason?
On field, Devontae Parker is so talented where. I mean, he's going to get targeted more probably than Gary Jennings. I really thought him and Albert Wilson were going to develop something special because I look at Albert Wilson. When I look at Albert Wilson and Kirk Merritt, do you know what I see, guys? I see the prototypical Alabama receiver. Okay, and that's why I'm so high on Kirk Merritt. But I think Devontae got 4.45 speed, so he's no slouch, and he can go up and get those balls where Tua can put it up to him. You know what I mean? And I think Kirk Merritt. I mean, you guys have seen his arms. He's 216 pounds. I think he's got the strength where he'll be able to do that type of stuff too. So, when I look at guys who are going to develop the rapport with them. I look at, I think Albert Wilson would have had a great shot, but the guys at the top of my list are probably Gary Jennings, Kirk Merritt, and Devontae Parker, and Preston Williams too, because Preston Williams and Devontae Parker's talent level alone. Here's the thing. To me, Devontae Parker and Preston Williams' talent level is going to demand targets. Gary Jennings and Kirk Merritt's relationship that they've started to develop with Tua will demand targets if they're on the field because you'll have a level of comfort with them. So that's why when I look at the guys, that's why I would pick out those 4, 2 guys based off talent getting the targets and 2 guys based off the relationship they're going to have with the quarterback that are just going to demand targets. Because I had guys like that when I played in high school. And I mean, I've talked about this. I just got cleanup work in college. I didn't start in college. I was a backup, but I had guys in practice where I threw to them because I just had a level of comfort with them in the film room, just personally out eating lunch, chilling with them, hanging out with them. Like, they got targets from me because I just trusted them as human beings. It comes down to that, especially my tight ends. Like, I talked about this before. I don't get, the thing I love about Brady is Brady. I was the same way in high school and college. My tight ends were my best friends. They were usually the bigger guys on the field. I could, I'm 5'10", going on 5'10 and a half, 5'11". So I had to look for the bigger guys, right? So, I've told EM the stories have gone into depths about how coaching created the pocket for me, all that kind of stuff. And EM knows this. That's why I think we should really look into seriously considering drafting a tight end next year. If a guy like Pitts, a guy like Freiermuth, or if a guy like Brevin Jordan is even sitting there, I think a tight end matched with Gesecki. Me and EM have had this discussion. Why don't teams utilize the Aaron Hernandez Gesecki blueprint? Because it was so freaking effective, and you don't need high-priced receivers around them.
So, you got
opportunity.
Hold on, guys.
2 first-round picks next year, and we already got Gesecki, who lined up in the slot and on the boundary more than any tight end in the NFL. And what is he? He is your version of Aaron Hernandez.
So
I'm not done. When you look at Pat Freiermuth and when you look at Kyle Pitts, and even when you look at Brevin Jordan, they're really good. They're good in open space. They're good with their hands, but they're also, especially Pat Freiermuth from Penn State, fantastic blocker. He would be your Gronk, and you just kill people, bro. And you put speed on the outside. You just go to work, man. Everything, man.
Go ahead.
I'm sure teams have tried. I'm sure teams had tried to replicate that, but
yeah,
the Rob Gronkowski's only come around once every so often. Bro.
I'm saying, right now, with this draft lining up, we got the pieces in place.
I think because we already got the pass catching tight ends.
So hold on. So that was part 2 of my question, guys. You just segued reason. Being that we lost our slot, so if y'all notice the stats, I know y'all notice the stats. EM, y'all on top of it. Reason, y'all on top of it. Gesecki played over 600 plus snaps, 400 plus on the slot, 200 sub in the tight end role on the line. We just got a tight end from Chicago who's more of a blocker, not like Gesecki, although he's athletic like Gesecki. Do y'all see Flores playing Gesecki more of a slot role now since he lost both his slot receivers? And Tua developing. Hold on.
That's legitimate.
No. I'm keeping it real because I read an article today and it brought out a point. They might use Gesecki more of a slot if they can't find a legitimate slot receiver to play. It's not like Gesecki can't play slot. You're already giving them matchup nightmares with linebackers.
Dude, when Albert
so you put in Shaheed on the blockers on the line as a blocker and put Gesecki out there, so you got a 2 tight end set. And if you want to switch it up, you can put both of them on the line. Do you not see that happening more instead of us to go finding a slot wide receiver to for Albert Wilson?
Well, the thing is too, what getting if you if we come away next year, because I think for some reason one of our picks is going to be in the top 10, and I think our other picks probably going to be in the top 20. If we can come away with Micah Parsons and Pat Freiermuth, I'm going to be happier than a pig. And you know what? And this is why my whole thing. If you hear EM come on here, what does he keep telling everyone? Power gap scheme. We're going to run that power run. So if you got 2, and I've always said the key to Gesecki truly being unlocked and becoming a 3-down tight end is he's got to become a competent blocker. If you can get him, and that's the one thing I'm going to be really hard on him this year because we're now into year 3, you better start showing me competent blocking ability. And because if I don't see it this year, I'm probably not going to see it. So, if you can turn him into a competent blocker and you go get a Pat Freiermuth or a Kyle Pitts who can also block as well as give you that receiver threat, all of a sudden, I mean, you can line up 7 guys at the line and you can start running motioning these guys out, and it's starting to create nightmare matchups for what they originally saw to now what they're about to see before you snap the ball. And that's where I'm going, especially with a power run. You want your tight ends to at least be competent. And with Adam Shaheen, honestly, I don't see him more as a red zone threat, a guy who, like when we showed the highlights, you're not going to ask him to do much more than run fade routes into the end zone on short yardage situation on the 1, 2, 3 yard line to catch touchdowns. I don't think you're going to see him get used like you might, but I don't think the key goal for him is going to be to use in open space. And this is why yesterday, after Albert Wilson opted out, I'm in a best ball league and it's on 8 hours a pick. And I drafted Mike Gesecki as my number 2 tight end yesterday because, like I said yesterday on the stream, and I said it just minutes ago, Gesecki lined up in the slot and on the boundary more than any tight end in the NFL. And Albert Wilson going out only means more opportunities and therefore more targets for Gesecki. So again, another late round pick who's going to be sitting for fantasy advice for you guys. If Gesecki's sitting around 12, 13, 14, 15th round, he's worth it. Trust me, anything after 10, he's worth it because the targets are going to be there this year. So, I think he's going to be used. And we've talked about, me and EM have talked about it. The whole notion that Chan Gailey doesn't use tight ends is so far off.
It's ridiculous.
Like EM said, that's buffoonery. That is buffoonery.
It's ridiculous.
One of Tony Gonzalez's best statistical years was under Chan Gailey.
I was trying to tell Larry on his, Larry last week, I believe, I forget exactly what it was when he went. Y'all, Dolphin 82, y'all probably remember when I was trying to explain to him, I don't get why the reason I talked about this when conversations about Chan Gailey. I've been consistent. I get Chan Gailey brought spread concepts. Well, he's credited to bringing spread concepts
bread and butter
to the NFL. But if you look at the different places that he's coached, Dallas, Kansas City, New York, Buffalo, he's so diverse in his offensive approach. So, and that's what Flores highlighted when they didn't introduce him, but when they asked Flores at the combine, what about Chan Gailey, intrigues you so much, intrigued you to the point where you wanted him as your offensive coordinator? He said that exact same thing. The diversity, the play, his approach, and in game, his ability to adjust in game.
Match the personnel.
So I thought it was just somewhat premature. People automatically speculating about, we got Chan Gailey, we're going to be a spread team, we're going to drop back and throw the ball, 40 times a game.
That's because it's people, it's kind of his base, but he doesn't. But people, it's kind of his. Oh, how do I word this? It's kind of his base, but he's really more of a hybrid in terms of he will scheme his offense to what he's facing that week, and then even further in game at halftime, he will make adjustments to scheme to what he's seeing.
Like our defense.
That's why you see him.
Exactly.
Here's the thing.
Our defense.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's known for really bringing the collegiate spread RPO concepts to the NFL level because he had to. That's what his offenses and his personnel called for, and that's what he thought would be effective. So that's his base. If people want to say that's his base, cool. But it's more of a base hybrid. Well, you'll see air raid concepts.
Right.
You know what I mean? You'll see all these different concepts. You'll see I formation straight under center coming out. You'll see pistol. You'll see straight up shotgun.
12, 13 personnel packages.
Even 11, right?
That.
You'll see even 11.
Even
right?
11, yeah.
So you'll see all these different packages. Like that's why I get if people want to say it's his base, but I look at it as more of a spread hybrid scheme to what I'm facing offense is what I see.
That makes sense. I would say to the point of the 2 tight ends, we have to remember, Gronk is a legitimate Hall of Fame candidate, and Aaron Hernandez, if he was a starting tight end on another team, even when he was a tight end on the Patriots, he was a Pro Bowl candidate. Though that doesn't grow on trees all the time. I'm sure a lot of teams have tried, the whole 2 tight end thing, but it's hard to find a receiving tight end with that catches and plays with the aggressiveness that Gronk and Aaron Hernandez played with.
Can I say this to you, Havoc?
Nobody's more aggressive than Aaron
Hernandez. Can I say this to you, Havoc? Maybe he could have done it in his younger days, but I ain't never seen Gronk throw a football over a house, run through the garage, and catch it on the other side.
Hey, that's a fact. I've seen Gesecki do that though.
Gesecki did it.
You know what? I like Gesecki's hands. I like
Gronk
him.
more likely to run through the house and throw the ball up and run through the house.
And I haven't seen Gronk play more slot positions than Gesecki.
Well, Gronk is an amazing blocker, so you don't even want him there.
And see, that's what makes Gronk unique.
That's why George Kittle's better than Kelsey, because Kittle's a very, very good
right. That's what made Gronk so unique, because he was really a tackle in the run game. He was that dominant in the run game, but he was athletic. He's 6'6", 265, 270 pounds with 4.58, 4.6 speed. Immense catch radius. You know what I mean? His hands were as good as it got. He ran like a wide receiver. He ran routes like a wide receiver. That's why I said teams have tried to replicate that, but what's the difference? How come teams can't duplicate that kind of dominance? It's Rob Gronkowski. You can find Aaron Hernandez's skill set all day. They come into the league. They're in and out of the league every year. You know, those one-dimensional tight end hybrid type of players, hybrid, slash wide receiver type of players. But it's Gronk is what made that offense unique.
Yep.
But they only come into the league every 10 or 15 years. That's why he's a surefire Hall of Famer.
Trust me. Let's go Penn State. Give me Micah Parsons and Pat Freiermuth.
McMillan is gone. If we draft him, McMillan is gone. I don't care what nobody says.
It's gonna be hard to give him another contract if we get him.
Yeah,
real hard.
This is contract year for him, isn't it?
Havoc. It's not even going to be hard. It's nothing to think about.
Next year.
If we draft him next year, McMillan is gone.
Next year?
Next year. He comes out next year. He's sitting out this year because of COVID, but he comes out next year.
Wait. Who's sitting out this year because of COVID?
Micah.
Oh, okay, Micah. I got you. So is Lucas Niang too. He's sitting out. Yeah, he's sitting out his rookie year because of COVID.
Yeah,
man.
And everyone. And look at Rondell Moore. A lot of scouts. #1 receiver this year just opted out too.
I'm telling you, this is why we are uniquely positioned to take advantage of next year's draft. When you have the gem finders we have throughout our organization, there are going to be a ton of guys with no tape that we're going to be able to evaluate, that our staff is going to be able to evaluate, that other teams that won't be on other teams' radars, and we are going to come out like bandits in the 2021 draft, like bandits.
Yeah, man.
Bandits would be coming out with Penei Sewell and Micah Parsons.
Well, if Deshaun Watson opts out, then Penei Sewell.
Yeah, I really think
exactly. He ain't opted out.
He ain't opted out.
I'm looking for it though. I want Pat Freiermuth, but I really think they're going to go receiver.
I think if we have Texans pick at 7, 8, 9, I think we have a great chance of getting Parsons.
Oh yeah,
that's where usually your top-notch middle linebackers get drafted.
Parsons will go from 5 to 10.
Yeah. So I think we have a great chance.
If he would have played, he could have gone top 5.
Man,
he's that transcendent.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, Sewell is going #1. I mean, unless Trevor's probably going #1. I would say Sewell is probably the #1 talent on the board for next year's draft, and it's to me, it's not even close. You're talking about a guy.
Penei Sewell's the best. Penei Sewell's the best. I've already said because I've watched a ton of tape on this kid because of how much Herbert I watched. Penei Sewell's the best player. I think he's the best player to come out in the draft in at least the last decade. He's the best, and he's probably, I would say, the best, most comparable tackle to him to come out was Orlando Pace, and that was 2008. But I think he might be better than Orlando Pace.
Whoa!
Orlando Pace was a high trophy.
Oh yeah, I know. Penei Sewell's on the.
Oh no, he's a beast.
No, Penei Sewell's on the early Heisman Trophy candidate betting odds.
Yeah,
it's pretty high.
I think
Sewell's a beast. I watch a lot of Oregon games from Gamble.
I think
it's a beast.
I think Sewell is more imposing in a run game than Orlando Pace was at this stage. Coming
Mr.
out
Pancake Block, Orlando Pace though, in Ohio
State now. His strong suit was pass protection, bro.
Orlando
Let's be
Pace
real. I'm not saying
pancake block though.
No, he was known for his excellent ability to protect the quarterback.
And
I mean,
That's what he was known
blocking.
for.
I mean, at the college level, he was.
And I'm not saying
no
he
one
was
could do anything with
terrible.
him at the college level. Now, at the pro level, he wasn't. He was he was a great player at the pro level.
But in college, he was flat.
Pass blocking was definitely his specialty.
Bro, have you watched? As a and y'all can take it however you want, but as a freshman, not only was Penei Sewell the highest graded player in the nation by PFF, but he was also the highest. He also had performed the highest grade by an offensive tackle since PFF started in 2013. And since then, they have gone back and they have started grading back to the 2000s and stuff like that. So I haven't looked and compared him to Orlando Pace. But, man, I mean, the guy got what did he get? He got a 97.3 overall PFF grade as a freshman. Man. Like,
let me ask you this: I have nothing but respect for Orlando Pace, but I'll say over the last 20 years, the best left tackle that I saw
Ogden
was Jonathan Ogden.
Yeah.
That's who I think the comparison should be. Ogden, I think Jonathan Ogden, bro. He was absolute
well-rounded
monster. He was equally as dominant. He was equally as dominant in the passing game as he was in a run game.
Yep. Tony,
and see, that's what that's why. Well,
because of the injury slowed him down. But Tony was a beast coming out of SC.
Yeah, and Jake Long was a beast too. Let's be real. Jake Long was a monster in his day.
2-year period where Jake Long was arguably the best tackle in football.
Yeah, exactly. Jake Long too. But when you talk about longevity, that production, that Hall of Fame, Jonathan Ogden, in my opinion, the last 20 years, is the best.
I agree.
Yeah, I would.
So no disrespect to Orlando Pace.
And let's be clear about who the best left tackle of the '90s was. He's still not in the Hall of Fame.
Richmond Webb.
Yeah, I agree.
Y'all had him on the show about a month and a half ago.
Yeah,
I agree.
And
I agree.
Like I said, everyone and I agree. Everyone talks about how much Zach Thomas deserves, but I can make the argument Richmond Webb deserves because it's what EM always says. What does EM say? And I think Eli Manning should be in the Hall of Fame, no matter you can go look at some of his seasons where, he threw 36, 38 touchdowns. He threw over 4,000 yards. Like Eli Manning does have. I've gone over his stats on stream. He has literally 2 periods in his career of 3 to 4 year stretches in those 2-year periods where he was on the cusp or in the discussion of top 10 quarterback in the NFL, statistically speaking. I'm not talking about what your eyes tell you. I'm just talking about statistics.
Yeah.
So when I go to Richmond Webb, here's the difference between Richmond Webb and a guy like Zach Thomas. Richmond Webb made the 1990s all-decade team named by the NFL. You literally can't talk about the 1990s without talking about Richmond Webb, especially at the left tackle position.
The Hall of Fame is.
Yeah, which is what the biggest. I think Richmond Webb deserves a jacket more than Zach Thomas.
Although
that's because Webb doesn't do any promotion. He doesn't have any media in his corner. It's sad.
And you also don't. You don't. What's sexier to you guys? Me telling you how many pancakes Richmond Webb, or me telling you how many pass breakups, interceptions, sacks, or pressure Zach Thomas had?
Yeah. And also some of the comments said Anthony Munoz. Anthony Munoz was the best ever, but he did most of his damage in the 80s.
Hold on, Ian. You said Eli should make the Hall of Fame. What you think about Roethlisberger?
I said
he's in.
I mean, reason.
Yes, he's in.
Roethlisberger's making the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
He has too many seasons of being
the top 5
yards.
You know what no one else talks about? You can say this argument too. How many receivers has Roethlisberger made that have skipped town and they ain't looked the same?
Mike Wallace.
Plaxico Burress.
Well, we all know what happened to Plax.
Even before he shot himself, Plaxico wasn't what he was, especially in that game against Arizona. He was one of the key reasons they won that Super Bowl, right?
Plaxico Burress was listening to Who Shot You, and he raised his hand.
Look at Antonio Brown can't keep his ish together.
True.
I mean, there's no denying the talent, but he can't keep his together.
Emmanuel Sanders, he's made
I'll be honest with you. I think look at Juju's production. Hines Ward is kind of a G.
Antoine Randall, my bad.
Look at Juju's production when he lost Ben Roethlisberger, and he started seeing doubles when Antoine left. When Antoine left, and he started picking up the doubles.
Yeah, the truth. That's
true.
facts.
Is Martavius Bryant still on the Steelers?
Yeah,
I thought
hell no.
Him
Once
too.
they draft- No,
They cut him.
yeah.
They did.
About time.
Wow, because he came on real hot, and then, well, that hot box it caught up with him. Hanging out with Le'Veon Bell too much.
Yo, Rhino, you need to stop dropping the TD info, my friend. This guy.
Definitely.
This guy.
Oh, that's funny.
So, yo, we're about to hit the 3-hour mark. Let's go through each one of you guys, get final thoughts. Rhino, we'll start with you.
Great meeting you guys. Great panel. It was a pleasure.
That was awesome having you on, brother. You better come back on now that we know.
And thank you for the nice words. I will.
Yeah, man.
Brother. Kenny, what do you got to say, brother?
Nothing, man. Love the show, bro. Hopefully we figure things out, man, within the team this summer. And, hope for the best, man. You guys are great, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Appreciate you, Kenny. You're always welcome back. Especially, guys, I'm going to tell you all, Sundays after we go live, after the game ends in the season, after they're done, 4 o'clock or whatever, about a half hour, 45 minutes after the game ends, we'll be going live for about 30, 40 minutes. We'll give you our recap and analysis. This will be the first year I'm officially not only watching the game, but taking notes while I watch. And then after we're done with our recap and analysis, we're going to be opening up the show like this for you guys to come on and give us your instant reactions, whether you want to celebrate or vent. So keep that in mind.
That's going to be a long show.
We're gonna like Eastern time. So if they start at 1 and they end at 4, we'll probably start around 4:30, 4:40, and we'll be going to just before our cutoff will be just before Sunday Night Football kicks off, so everyone can watch the Sunday night game. So Havoc, what are your thoughts, brother?
I mean, you know what it is, man. Fins up all day. Make sure to support Matt Collins at Wingstop when you see him. And on the real tip though, Rhino, you are the GOAT of the comment section, homie. You are the GOAT of the comment section.
Thanks, bro.
Yes, sir.
And Dolphin 82, brother, what do you got on your mind?
Great show. Hey, Rhino, it's about time you came on, man. Jeez,
Yeah,
I never thought I'd see this. Now you just have me confident that Tua's going to take us to the playoffs.
Yeah,
Rhino
right.
came on. I got confident. I see Rhino coming on. I see Tua pulling a sled, and I see him gain like 10 pounds. I'm all in now. You can't change my 9. Fins up.
And Damien, what do you got to say, brother?
Another great show. It's good to hear from my man Rhino, and hopefully, man, like all of our players can stay COVID free. All of us stay COVID free, but hopefully our players can. And I'm optimistic about this season. And I just want to say one thing: when I saw Tua pulling that sled, only thing I could think about was Tua in the Super Bowl in a commercial saying, "I'm going to Disney World." That's facts, man. Fins up, man.
And guys, I want to also add Monday night, because I don't know if we'll be back before it. We might be back this weekend. We'll probably not be back tomorrow night, but Monday night, 8 p.m. Is it 8 p.m.? Hold on, let me double check. Because we're going to be having on Paul and Brian Catt.
You said 8 p.m. last week.
I gotta catch that.
Did I?
Yep. I remember.
Okay. So we'll be on 8 p.m. on Monday night. And we're going to have on Brian Catt and Paul from On the Phinside. So y'all are going to want to tune into that one, because I don't know if you guys follow Brian Catt at all, or all the On the Phinside guys. I know Damien watches them, but they're just like me and EM. They're kind of film junkies. They pretty much take the analytical side from the game. So it should be I'm really expecting good things from this conversation, and I'm expecting high chemistry. So I think the energy is going to be pretty good. Excited. And guys, we're also going to be doing a sequel to that training camp panel discussion we did. Well, we call it a round table. We're going to be doing a regular season one, and the On the Phinside guys are going to be on that, as well as Dante Colinelli. and we're just working on confirming another couple names. Like I know Great One DeVore is going to be there too, and
What about Sarney?
Yeah, man, just stick around. We'll talk about that when we go backstage, man. Just stick around when I get out of here, okay?
Okay.
We'll talk about that when we go backstage. So I know we're gonna confirm with Dudley and see if he'll come back too. So those are things that you guys can look out for. And also I gotta say, thank God I waited on doing my draft eligible players. Dolphin fans should keep an eye on with the opt outs that are happening. But that'll happen before the season starts as well, because I'm going to have to adjust. I had about 20 players on that list, and I was going to go over the last 10 to 20 as honorable mentions, and then go more in depth from 1 to 10. But it looks like I'm going to have to adjust it accordingly, so it might not even be 20 anymore. So be on the lookout for those type of things, guys. Other than that, we appreciate you guys spending 3 hours with us on your Thursday night. Don't forget, best way to quiet out the haters and help us if you're just tuning in, hit that like button, because it helps us with the algorithm. It'll put us in the recommended videos box, and it'll just help this channel grow. If you don't want to donate through the super chat, but you do want to donate, paypal.me/Phinside. And if you guys want to become a Patreon member, patreon.com/Phinside the NFL. And shout out as usual to all our Patreons, because we actually have the inaugural one on right now. Shout out to the homie Rhino Smith and Infinite Trauma, because they were the two original Patreons. So shout out to them, but also shout out to Shake Money, because I know he's a Patreon. He rolled through today. Shout out to Mr. 2-Bit, Seth, Roman Casillas, KA all day, Joe B. I didn't see Joe B tonight, but shout out to Fake Spike as well. And yeah, man, shout out to all you who continue to support just by even clicking on our channel to give us a view. I appreciate everyone for all the love you guys show, all the support you guys continue to show, and we're on that road to 2K. So until next time, guys, it's Fins up all day, every day, and we'll see y'all guys sooner rather than later.